Good morning, my dear friend. As the first light of dawn breaks through the veil of darkness, the world feels tender and untouched, as though heaven has gently placed its hand upon the earth. The air is still, and in this quiet space, before the noise of the day begins, something sacred stirs. It is the hour when the soul whispers its deepest thoughts, when the heart feels both vulnerable and open. This is not just another morning, it is an invitation, a divine appointment between you and the one who knows every corner of your being. Somewhere right now, someone is waking up with a weight on their chest. Perhaps it is you. Perhaps the night was long and restless, filled with questions that had no answers. There is a woman who just lost her husband, sitting alone in a kitchen that feels too quiet, trying to hold back tears for the sake of her children. There is a young man who has been battling anxiety for months, hiding behind a brave face while his soul trembles with fear. There is a mother praying in silence over a child who has wandered far from home. And maybe you, too, are carrying something heavy: grief, fear, shame, or confusion, wondering if God still sees, still listens, still rescues. If you have ever whispered a prayer in the dark and wondered if it reached heaven, you are not alone. If you have ever looked strong on the outside, but felt like you were unraveling inside, this space is for you. This moment is not random. It is not an accident that you are here, hearing these words. Because in the silence of the morning, when the world has not yet demanded anything of you, there is a voice calling one that has never stopped pursuing you. There are traps in life that we never saw coming. They do not always look like obvious danger. Sometimes they are disguised as opportunity, connection, or even blessing. The enemy is subtle. He sets snares not only to trip your feet, but to tangle your mind, to confuse your heart, to cloud your discernment. And often, we do not realize we have stepped into something destructive until we feel the sting of regret or the ache of brokenness. But today is different. This morning, we choose not to live in reaction, but in revelation. We choose to open our eyes before the snare is pulled tight. You are not powerless. The weight of this world is not greater than the one who carries you. The lies that whisper you are unworthy, too broken, too far gone, they crumble in the presence of truth. Because the truth is this: you are seen, you are loved, and you are not alone in the fight. Prayer is not just words in the air. It is the sound of chains breaking. It is a declaration that light still pierces darkness, that healing still flows, and that heaven still moves for those who dare to believe. So this morning, I invite you to do something brave. Open your heart, not with perfect words or religious rituals, just with honesty, with sincerity, with faith the size of a mustard seed. Let your guard down for a moment. Let your heart soften in the quiet. You are stepping into a sacred conversation, not one of ritual, but of relationship. You are not talking to the ceiling. You are communing with the one who formed you, who knows you, who fights for you even when you feel too tired to fight for yourself. Let this morning be the beginning of something new. Let it be the day your eyes begin to see what you could not before. Let it be the moment you feel heaven draw near, not in thunder or spectacle, but in the gentle whisper that reminds you, you are still chosen, still called, still protected. And now, let us begin. Dear Heavenly Father, this morning, I wake up with a weight I cannot fully name. The sky outside is quiet, the world still covered in the hush of early light. But inside, I feel tired in places no sleep can reach. I open my eyes and know that I should feel grateful for another day. And yet, my heart stumbles before it even begins. There is a heaviness in my chest, like something unseen is pressing down. And I do not know where it ends or how it began. Maybe it came from the worry I carried to bed. Maybe it has been building for days, or months, or longer than I care to admit. But I cannot pretend it is not here. I cannot ignore the ache or deny the dull throb of weariness inside me. So I bring it to you, Lord. I bring this silence, this fog, this invisible burden that clings to me in the quiet. I do not have the strength today to shout or to fight. I barely have the strength to whisper. But I whisper your name because even my weakest breath has power when it reaches your ears. I do not know what the day holds. I do not know if the news I receive will lift me up or tear me down. I do not know if the people I love will draw closer or drift farther. I do not know if my fears will come true or if they will fade into shadows. But I know that you are already here. You are in this moment with me, before the world begins to pull at me. And I need you more than I can explain. I need you not as an idea or a distant hope, but as a presence that holds me steady when I cannot stand on my own. I do not need answers right now. I need rest. I need to know that even in this fog of confusion, you are near. I need to know that I am not being punished for being weak or overwhelmed. I need to know that you see me here, blinking against the light, trying to gather the courage to move, to breathe, to trust. I do not feel brave. I do not feel strong, but I offer you what I have. My breath, my tears, my trembling. I place them into your hands, because I believe you are gentle with broken things. I believe you do not turn away when your children come undone. And this morning, I feel a little undone. I do not want to pretend I am okay when I am not. I do not want to rush past the pain to get to something pretty. I want to be real with you. I want to invite you into this place inside me that still feels raw, unsure, afraid. Because even if I can explain all that is wrong, I know you understand every thread of what I feel. You understand the things I cannot say out loud. You understand the quiet sadness, the hidden disappointments, the fears I keep trying to outrun. And you are not offended by them. You are not tired of me. You are not frustrated that I still do not have it all together. You are here. And that is enough for now. So I breathe. I sit in the stillness and let you find me here. I let my heart slow down. I let my shoulders drop. I let my defenses fall. I let you come close. There is something sacred about this kind of honesty. Something holy in this fragile surrender. I do not need to perform. I do not need to impress. I do not need to have the right words. I just need to be with you. I just need to know that this moment is not empty, that my reaching for you is not in vain. That even though I may not feel it, something is already shifting in the atmosphere around me. Something is already being lifted. Something is already being healed. The morning feels heavy, but you are not. Your yoke is easy, and your burden is light. And if I cannot lift myself up, then I ask you to hold me. If I cannot find my voice, then I ask you to hear the sound of my heart. If I cannot run, then walk beside me at the pace I can manage. You know what I need better than I do. You know where I have been trying too hard and where I have given up. You know where I am strong and where I am still hurting. You know the fears I hide and the longings I barely dare to hope for. You know me. Not the version I show to the world, but the real me, the tired me, the hurting me, the trying me, the me that is reaching for you even now. I do not come today for miracles I can touch. I come for peace. I come for the deep assurance that I am not alone in this invisible battle. I come because I believe that you walk with me through every shadow, through every hallway of doubt. I come because I believe that when I reach for you, you reach back. I come because even in the places I have fallen or failed, you do not withdraw. You do not shame. You restore. You remind me of who I am and who I belong to. And I belong to you. So I breathe again, not because the pain has disappeared, because I am learning to rest even when the answers have not yet come. I am learning to lean even when the way is unclear. I am learning to trust that you are with me now, not just when I feel victorious, but when I am still finding my feet. I am learning to sit with you in the quiet and believe that this too is holy, that this too is worship, that this morning, with all its unknowns, is still sacred because you are in it. I do not need to fight for your attention. I have it. I do not need to earn your love. I already carry it. I do not need to be perfect. I just need to be present. So I give you this present moment. I give you my shaky breath and my weary bones. I give you the fears I have not named and the hope I dare to hold. I give you the morning sun, the uncertain road ahead, and all the places I feel weak. And I ask you to be my strength. Whatever comes next, I ask you to walk with me through it. Even if the heaviness lingers, even if the answers take time, even if the way ahead is longer than I expected, just walk with me, sit with me, hold me when I cannot move, speak to me in the quiet, remind me of truth when lies try to take hold, and help me remember that even now, even here, especially here, you are near. God, I cannot hold this weight alone anymore. I tried to carry it quietly, to smile while it trembled beneath the surface, to keep walking while my soul was screaming. But it is too much now. Something inside me has cracked open, and everything I was holding back is pouring out. I have no more strength to contain it, no more strength to pretend. I do not even know what words to use. I just know I need you. I need you in a way that feels more desperate than before. I need you like air in the lungs of someone drowning. I need you like water in the dry cracks of a thirsty soul. Father, something deeper than words is rising within me, and I do not want to silence it this time. I want to let it out. I want to cry the kind of cry that comes from the places I have hidden. I want to weep the kind of weeping that cleanses, washes away the dirt of fear and shame and exhaustion. I want to scream without shame, to sob without apology, to feel without filters, because you are the only one who can handle it. You are the only one who can hold this mess and not turn away. You are not startled by my flood. You are not offended by my cry. You lean in closer when my voice trembles. Not farther. And I need that now more than ever. I have tried to be strong for so long. I have tried to carry others. Carry responsibilities. Carry expectations. I have tried to keep my faith wrapped in a neat box. But underneath, my heart has been breaking. There are questions I do not have answers to. There are wounds that have not healed. There are fears that whisper in the dark. And sometimes, I wonder if you still hear me, if you still see me when I can lift my head. But then I remember who you are, not a distant judge, not a silent observer, but the God who gathers every tear in a bottle, the Father who runs toward the cry of his child. And so I cry, not because I have lost hope, but because I am finally letting myself need you this deeply. I cry for what I lost, for the things that slipped through my fingers before I could hold them, for the people who left without warning, for the opportunities I missed while I was trying to survive. I cry for the things I buried too quickly, the pain I never allowed myself to grieve, the dreams I locked away because I was too afraid of disappointment. I cry for the strength I never received and for the battles I fought in silence. I cry because I am tired of pretending. I cry because it is time. And as I do not cry alone. You are here. I feel it in the stillness, in the way the air does not feel so cold anymore, in the way my heart does not feel so abandoned. You meet me in the tears. You wrap me in a quiet comfort that does not need words. You remind me that brokenness is not the end, it is the doorway. That when I come to the end of myself, I fall into your arms. You never asked me to carry this alone. You never demanded that I stay composed to be worthy of your presence. You only asked that I come, just as I am, and so I do. There is something holy in this unraveling, something sacred in this surrender. You are not embarrassed by my need. You are not disgusted by my vulnerability. You welcome it. You honor it. You meet it with mercy. And in this raw place, I begin to breathe again. Not the shallow breathing of survival, but the deep breathing of someone who knows they are safe to feel. Safe to be undone in the arms of a God who does not flinch at weakness. A God who whispers comfort into the center of chaos. A God who answers not with thunder, but with peace that settles into my bones. My cry is not a failure of faith. It is the sound of faith that dares to trust you with my most tender wounds. My sobs are not a sign of despair, but a sign of life, a soul refusing to go numb. I cry not because I doubt you, but because I believe you are listening. Because I believe you care. Because I believe you draw near to the brokenhearted. So I let the tears fall. I let the grief rise. I let the fear speak. And I trust that you will not let me drown in it. You are the lifter of my head, the anchor in my storm, the hand that catches me when I fall too far. There is no shame in this moment. There is only truth. And the truth is that I need you not as a decoration for good days, but as a refuge in the hardest ones. I need you in the mess. I need you in the confusion. I need you when I do not know how to pray and when all I can do is cry. And you come. You always come. Maybe not with answers, but with presence. Maybe not with quick fixes, but with steady arms. You hold me in the middle of my undoing. You do not rush me past it. You sit with me in it. And slowly, the panic fades. The H begins to settle. And what is left is something more solid than before. A deeper connection, a quieter strength, a gentler hope. I may still feel broken, but I am not abandoned. I may still be crying, but I am not forgotten. I may not see the way ahead, but I know the one who walks with me. And in this knowing, I find enough. I find breath. I find room to rest. I find the beginning of healing. So I stay here a little longer. I let myself be small in the presence of your greatness. I let my voice rise with every unsaid sorrow. I let my cry be my worship. I let this H become my offering. And I wait not with fear, but with trust, because the one who hears the cry from the depths is also the one who reaches down to pull me out. Lord, as the tears begin to slow and the air grows a little clearer around me, I find myself reaching not just for relief, but for remembrance. There is something that stirs when the soul stops, gasping long enough to listen. In the stillness that follows the storm, a quiet voice rises, not loud, not demanding, but steady. And in that voice, I remember, not everything is healed yet, but even in the Hing, I begin to recall who you are, not as an idea, not as a lesson I was taught, but as the God who showed up when I needed you most, the God who has never failed me. Though I have doubted, the God who found me when I wandered into places I thought I would never escape. Father, you have always been there even when I did not recognize. I remember the night I was at the edge, heartbroken and hopeless, and somehow I made it through. I did not have the words then, but now I know it was you who held me together. I remember when I thought I had ruined everything, but you made a way that I never saw coming. I remember when I was lost in shame and could not see any future beyond my guilt, and you whispered grace into the darkness until it found its way into my bones. I remember the doors that closed, the people who left, the paths that vanished, and how every ending led me closer to something better, something I did not even know to ask for. It was you. It was always you. You are not just a rescuer. You are a restorer. You do not simply pull me out of pits. You lead me beside still waters. You do not just silence the storm. You teach my heart to trust in the silence that follows. And even now, with my heart still raw from all I have poured out, I begin to feel the warmth of those memories rising like sunlight through fog. I see the way you have carried me not with force, but with gentleness, not because I earned it, because you love without conditions. You love because it is who you are. I think back to the places I thought would break me, and they did not. I think about the moments I was sure I had lost too much to ever laugh again. And somehow, joy still found its way back. Think about how many nights I cried out for help, unsure if you heard, and how you answered not always in the way I expected, but always in a way that left me stronger. You have never let me fall beyond your reach. You have never watched from afar. You were the one steady presence through every change, the one voice that spoke calm when everything else was chaos. Sometimes I forget that you have done this before, that this feeling I have now, the fear, the uncertainty, it is not new to you. You have led people through wilderness. You have parted seas. You have shut the mouths of lions and lifted the broken from ashes. And you have led me through dark valleys I thought I would not survive. So why would I doubt you now? Why would I think that this valley is somehow different, that this time you won come through? No, you are the same God, the same deliverer, the same provider, the same healer. You have not changed. But sometimes I need to remember, not because you forgot, but because I did. God, remind me when my faith grows thin. Remind me when fear takes the lead. Remind me when I look at the road ahead and feel small. Remind me of what you have done, of who you have been, of the countless times you made a way, not in theory, in real moments, in real tears, in real victories that bore your fingerprints. I remember waking up after nights I thought would be my last and seeing the sun rise again. I remember the grace you poured over me like rain when I deserved nothing but silence. I remember how you turned even my worst mistakes into stories of redemption. Let that remembering be my anchor. Let it be the place where hope finds its footing again. Let it be the ground beneath my trembling faith. Because you have not changed. You are still the God who heals, who speaks, who restores, who surrounds. Even when I do not feel you, you are near. Even when I can see the outcome, you are already in it. Even when everything around me is uncertain, you remain the constant. My rock, my refuge, my hiding place. So I let my soul settle here. In remembrance, I let my heart breathe in the truth of who you have always been. You are not distant. You are not waiting for me to perform. You are present, kind, steady, and I trust that the same God who brought me through every yesterday will walk with me through this today. I trust that what you began in me, you will not abandon. I trust that no part of my journey is wasted. That even the parts that hurt, the parts that confuse me, the parts that still make me question, all of them are held in your hands. Nothing has caught you by surprise. You already saw this moment, and you already planned to meet me here. I do not need to have all the answers. I just need to remember the one who does. I do not need to map out the whole road. I just need to know you are walking with me, and I do. I believe that you are not just the God of miracles, but the God of moments this moment. Right now, where I remember that I am not forgotten, not forsaken, not alone. I am known, I am loved, and I am seen by the one who never lets go. Even in my weakest hours, even when I have stumbled and fallen, you have not turned your face from me. You have lifted me. You have covered me. You have redeemed me. And for every time I doubted, every time I wandered, every time I broke down thinking it was over, you were there, writing a better ending than I knew how to ask for. Let that truth soak into every part of me that is still trembling. Let it rise like light through every corner still held by fear. Let the memory of your faithfulness give me courage to believe again. You did not bring me this far to abandon me now. You are the same yesterday, today, and forever. And I choose to believe not because I feel strong, but because I remember just how strong you have been. Lord, as the memories of your faithfulness settle into my bones and quiet the trembling inside me, I feel something else rising to awareness. A deeper knowing that the heaviness I have been carrying is not always just sadness or exhaustion. Sometimes it is not even mine. Sometimes it is a weight planted by an enemy I could not see. Sometimes it is the invisible war pressing down in silence, hoping I want to recognize it for what it is. But I see it now. The fog is lifting, and my spirit is awakening. Not everything that comes against me has a name I can speak. Not every battle has a face I can confront. But that does not make it less real. And now I know. I have been under attack not just in my circumstances, but in the unseen parts of my life. Father, help me name this for what it is. Help me no longer dismiss what is spiritual as merely emotional. Help me stop blaming myself for burdens that were placed on my back by hands I could not detect. There has been a war in the background, whispers of doubt, at just the right moment. Subtle distractions that pulled me away from you, quiet lies dressed as truth. And I fell for some of them, not because I was weak, but because I did not see them coming. Because the enemy does not always strike loudly. Sometimes he tiptoes in and sets traps where I least expect inside my thoughts. My relationships, my routines. And if I am not alert, I mistake warfare for fatigue, deception for opportunity, destruction for normal. So I come to you with open eyes now, asking you to shine light into every place that has been touched by darkness. I do not want to live unaware anymore. I do not want to move through life missing the subtle attacks that chip away at my strength and drain my joy. I want to be awake. I want to be discerning. I want to be so anchored in truth that I recognize the lie the moment it approaches. Because I know now that the battles I have been facing are not just external. They are spiritual. And if I do not see that, I will keep fighting the wrong enemy and using the wrong weapons. But you, Lord, have given me eyes to see, and I ask that you sharpen my vision. God, reveal every place where I have made agreements with things that are not from you. Show me where I have allowed confusion to settle in like it belongs. Show me where I have accepted fear as normal, where I have tolerated despair as part of life. Show me where I have let bitterness nest in the corners of my heart. Because those are not just emotions, they are traps. And I want them broken. I want every snare exposed, every net untangled, every lie uprooted. Not one hidden thing can stay. Not one shadow can linger. Where your light is, darkness cannot dwell. And so I invite your light into every part of me. Let me not be fooled by appearances. Let me not chase what sparkles if it was sent to blind me. Let me not run after doors that you never opened. I do not want anything that leads me away from you, no matter how promising it looks on the surface. I have been deceived before, but no more, not this time. Not when I have come too far, not when I have seen too much. You have taught me to listen deeper than my feelings, to discern louder than my senses. And so I ask for clarity. I ask for the ability to see beyond the surface, to know when something is off even if I can't explain it, to trust that gentle nudge in my spirit when you are whispering, "Walk away." And Father, not just for myself, help me see the battles around me too, the people I love who are entangled without realizing it, the voices they believe that were never from you, the confusion that covers their minds and leads them down paths of slow destruction. Give me eyes to intercede, to pray for them with precision, to speak truth gently but boldly, to carry light into places where shadows have built homes. This is not just about me. This is about the ones around me, the generations after me, the legacy you have called me to protect. And I cannot protect what I will not fight for. I cannot fight what I do not see. So wake me up from every spiritual slumber, from every lullaby the enemy has sung to keep me passive, from every false sense of peace that was really surrender to lies. Stir me, Lord. Make me uncomfortable in anything that is not from you. Let nothing unclean find a place to settle in my mind or my home. Let no hidden enemy have room to build in my silence. I choose to rise. I choose to be aware. I choose to see the invisible for what it is and call it by name. I will no longer be fooled. I will no longer stay quiet. I will no longer live as if this is just life, because this is war, and I am not defenseless. You have armed me, not with fear, but with authority. You have called me to walk with eyes open and spirit alert, to recognize the whispers of the serpent before they take root, to dismantle traps before they spring, to tear down arguments that set themselves up against your truth. And I say yes to that call, not because I am strong on my own, but because I know the one who fights for me. I know the one who leads the armies of heaven. I know the one whose name causes darkness to tremble. And I call on that name now. Jesus, be my clarity, be my covering, be the sword that cuts through every illusion. I refuse to partner with lies. I refuse to make peace with what is trying to destroy me. I refuse to live numb to the danger simply because it is silent. I choose to be alert. I choose to live with discernment. I choose to ask you first before I step, before I speak, before I say yes to anything. Let every decision be tested in your light. Let every thought be filtered through your truth. Let every opportunity be measured against your voice. Because if you are not in it, I do not want it. If it does not lead me closer to you, it leads me into danger. And I want no part of anything that compromises my soul. So here I am, with eyes that are beginning to see more clearly, with a spirit that is learning to sense the battle even when it is quiet, with a heart that is no longer satisfied with surface peace. I am not afraid of the truth. I welcome it, even if it means change, even if it means letting go, even if it means facing things I would rather ignore. because the only way forward is through light. And you, Lord, are the light that no darkness can overcome. So lead me, illuminate every step. I will follow you through this battlefield, knowing that you never lose, and because I am with you, I will not be defeated. Father, now that I have awakened to the reality of the war I could not see, I cannot go back to blindness. I cannot unknow what has been revealed. I cannot continue stepping forward without first asking you to lift the veil over every hidden trap that may lie ahead. I need more than awareness. I need clarity. I need vision that is not clouded by emotion or circumstance. I need eyes that see what yours see. I need discernment sharp enough to recognize what is from you and what is sent to sabotage, because I have walked into things that looked harmless before. I have been pulled into places that appeared bright, but were laced with shadow. I have stepped through open doors without stopping to ask who opened them, and I cannot afford to do that anymore. Lord, I am asking you to lift what I cannot lift on my own. Pull back the layers of illusion that keep me from seeing clearly. Remove the false light that makes danger look like blessing. Strip away the disguises the enemy wears to lure me into his traps. I do not want to fall for anything again simply because I failed to pause and ask for your insight. I do not want to chase after good things that are not God things. So expose every strategy that has been set against me. Reveal every scheme that waits in silence, hoping to catch me unaware. Shine your truth into the corners where deception hides. If there is anything that pretends to serve me but is sent to weaken me, uncover it now. Even if the truth stings, I would rather walk with pain than with delusion. Even if what is revealed hurts, I would rather be wounded by truth than destroyed by lies. I am not asking for comfort. I am asking for light. I am asking you to shine so clearly that every false thing must run. Because the traps of the enemy are not always loud. They come quietly. They wait patiently. They look like help. They speak like love. They promise peace. But their purpose is always the same: to pull me away from you, to make me question what I once knew, to detour my heart one small step at a time. God, show me what I have not seen. If there are patterns repeating in my life that are rooted in darkness, reveal them. If there are relationships that drain my spirit more than feed my soul, bring them into the light. If there are behaviors I have justified that are actually compromises, lay them bare. If there are habits that seem harmless but slowly silence my hunger for you, expose them. I do not want to walk another day unaware of what I am feeding, what I am allowing, or what I am tolerating in my spirit. Lift the veil over my routines, over my words, over my choices. Help me see how I move, how I respond, how I decide. Let no deception survive in the places where I think I am right. Let no manipulation thrive under the guise of my comfort. Teach me the difference between peace and passivity, between open doors and open traps. Teach me the sound of your voice so clearly that every other voice is obvious in its imitation. Teach me to recognize the weight of your presence so I will never settle for a feeling that only mimics it. And Father, if I have placed anything between you and me that makes it harder to hear you, remove it. if I have clung to distractions so tightly that I can no longer discern their danger, loosen my grip, if I have built routines that numb me to your warnings, break them. If I have invited anything into my life that camouflages the enemy's plan, cast it out. I do not want to be impressed by what is sent to oppress. I do not want to be entertained by what is designed to erode my discernment. I want to live alert. I want to walk in such alignment with you that even the slightest misdirection feels like thunder in my spirit. Let nothing go unnoticed. Let no seed of confusion be allowed to grow. Let no half-truths bloom into full deception. Let no unhealthy desire masquerade as destiny. I want what is real, what is righteous, what is rooted in you, and I am willing to wait for it. I am willing to walk slower if it means I see clearer. I am willing to leave behind what I once chased if you show me it was never mine. I am willing to be misunderstood if that is what it takes to follow the path you have lit for me, because I know now that every step matters. Every decision shapes the direction of my life, and I do not want even one of them to be manipulated by a lie. I know the enemy watches, not always to attack directly, but to study me, to notice what I respond to, what I fear, what I want. He builds his traps based on my patterns. But you, God, know me deeper. You know where I am weak before I even admit it. You know where I am still healing, where I am still easily swayed. So I ask you to guard those places. Strengthen what is fragile. Protect what is unsteady. Keep my feet from slipping. Let your word be so alive in me that it alerts me before danger arrives. Let me see, not just with natural eyes, but with spiritual awareness. Let me sense what is not visible. Let me discern what others miss. Let me pick up on the smallest signs that something is off, so that I do not learn by falling, but by listening. Let wisdom be louder than curiosity. Let conviction rise higher than my craving for comfort. Let truth be so rooted in me that anything false feels foreign. And when I am unsure, when the road forks and both paths look right, be my clarity. Be the voice that says, "This is the way, walk in it," even if it is narrow, even if it is unfamiliar, even if it requires surrender. Because I trust you more than I trust myself. I trust that you see what I cannot. I trust that you are not withholding good from me, protecting me from what only looks good for a moment. And I trust that the longer I walk with you, the more familiar your truth will become. So here I am again, asking not just for protection, but for precision. Not just for blessing, but for vision. Not just for mercy when I fall, but for insight so I can stand. Let today not be led by guesswork or assumption. Let today be led by light. Let it be a day where nothing takes root unless you planted it. A day where every voice that speaks to me must answer to your authority. A day where I pause before each step, not out of fear, but out of reverence for the one who knows what waits ahead. A day where the veil is lifted and I walk not in reaction, but in revelation, fully aware that you are leading me and nothing in the dark can stop what you have made clear. Father, now that I have asked you to lift the veil, I realize how much I have mistaken appearance for truth. The more I sit with you, the more I see how many things I once welcomed into my life were never sent by you at all. They wore the right faces. They spoke the right words. They offered what I thought I needed in the moment, but underneath the smooth surface was a twisting of truth, a subtle bending of what is good. Did not feel dangerous then. That is what made it so convincing. The enemy rarely comes in ways that scream destruction. He comes quietly, dressed in light, holding things that look like gifts. But you are revealing the difference now. Lord, I can look back and see the moments where I followed my own understanding. The relationships that started with charm but ended in compromise. The opportunities that promised promotion but required me to shrink spiritually. The conversations that felt affirming at first but slowly pulled me away from conviction. I thought they were blessings. I thought they were open doors, but I never stopped long enough to ask, "Is this from you?" And now I see how easy it is to be deceived, not by what is obviously wrong, but by what is almost right. And that almost is where the danger lies. So I ask you to keep teaching me how to see past the surface. Dante, let me be satisfied with what looks good if it does not lead to life. Dante, let me be drawn in by charm or comfort if compromise is hidden underneath. Help me recognize the tactics the enemy uses when he wants to lure me away quietly, without resistance. He does not need to push when a gentle pull will do. He just needs me to stop asking questions, to stop checking in with you, to start believing I can figure it out on my own. And I have done that before. I have leaned on my own sense of timing, on my emotions, on advice that sounded wise but was not grounded in you. But not anymore. Expose what has been dressed up to deceive me. Peel back the polished surfaces and let me see the motives underneath. If something in my life has been planted with hidden hooks, show me. If I have trusted people who were sent to distract me, reveal their fruit. If I have made agreements with words that sounded sweet, but were rooted in manipulation, break them now. I do not want to stay loyal to anything that is pulling me away from my purpose. I do not want to protect what is actually poisoning me. If it came into my life with a mask, tear it off. Even if it hurts, even if I have to let go, even if I have to walk away from something I once prayed for. I trust you more than I trust my memories or desires. And Lord, help me understand how deception works, not just around me, but inside me. Help me see the parts of myself that still want approval more than alignment. The parts that are tempted to call convenience peace or compromise grace. Let me not excuse things just because they feel familiar. Let me not defend patterns that keep me passive. Let me not cling to anything you are trying to remove. I have built emotional attachments to things that were never meant to stay. I have held on to ideas that kept me comfortable but kept me small. I have allowed old wounds to influence new decisions. I want those layers gone. I want the roots of deception pulled up. Not just the fruit, every root. The enemy loves to use what feels good to lead me away from what is truly good. He does not always push me to deny you. Sometimes he just offers an easier version of obedience. A shortcut, a less painful path. A quieter kind of faith that does not cost me much. But that is not what you called me to. You called me to walk in truth, not comfort, to carry my cross, not just my blessings, to live in freedom. not convenience. And real freedom only exists in truth. So let me love truth more than feelings. Let me hunger for truth more than ease. Let me choose truth, even when it separates me from what once felt safe. If my heart has begun to believe half-truths, reset it. If my ears have grown used to counterfeit wisdom, tune them again to your voice. If my steps have been directed by assumptions rather than discernment, correct my path. I know you are not condemning me. You are rescuing me. You are interrupting the slow drift away. You are reminding me that what begins as a small step can end in a long fall if I do not pay attention. So I choose to pay attention now. I choose to wake up before I reach the edge. And Father, do not let me be deceived by emotion alone. I know now that just because something feels right does not mean it is. Just because it looks like peace does not mean it brings peace. Just because it answers a need does not mean it comes from you. You are not the author of confusion. You do not send things that weaken my conviction or ask me to abandon my values in the name of progress. You do not speak through flattery or guilt or manipulation. You speak through stillness, through confirmation, through peace that stays even when the path is hard. So give me the kind of discernment that does not flinch when the mask comes off. Give me the courage to walk away from what you did not send. Give me wisdom to see temptation even when it wears the right clothes. And give me the patience to wait on you when what I want seems delayed. I would rather wait with you in stillness than rush ahead into something that leads me away from the place where you dwell. Teach me to value alignment over applause, depth over speed, character over charisma, real over flashy, truth over comfort. Because anything built on deception cannot stand, and I want a life that lasts. And if I ever start to forget again, if I ever start to soften toward lies because they come in familiar packages, remind me what compromise cost me before. Remind me of the damage that comes when I trust what only looks good. Remind me of the nights I cried because I said yes to something that had no business in my life. And then remind me that you have already made a better way, a way that protects my soul, a way that guards my peace, a way that does not just look like you on the outside, but is filled with you through and through. This is the way I want to walk, the way of integrity, the way of clarity, the way of truth that does not change when emotions shift or pressure rises, the way that exposes what the enemy hoped would remain hidden, the way that tears off every mask and reveals what is real. Because I do not want to be fooled. I do not want to be led by shadows. I want what is light, what is whole, what is born from your hand. And I know that if I ask, you will show me, you will teach me. You will make sure I do not fall for poison wrapped in honey ever again. Father, now that you have opened my eyes to the subtle disguises of the enemy, I can no longer pretend I have not made space for things that never should have been welcomed. It is not enough to just recognize the traps. I have to deal with the reasons they had room to grow in the first place. I can feel it now, those little compromises I once thought were harmless, the ones I justified because they did not seem like full rebellion, just minor deviations. The excuses I made, the silence I chose, the lines I blurred, thinking they would not matter. But they did. They always do. One thread at a time. They pulled me out of alignment, and now I am ready to cut those threads. Lord, I come to you not with denial, but with full admission. I have let things in. I have let pride dictate my tone. I have let bitterness linger too long. I have chosen convenience over conviction, moments of pleasure over discipline, approval over obedience. I have called distraction rest, and avoidance wisdom. I have downplayed patterns that you gently nudged me to address. I told myself I would deal with it later. I told myself it was not affecting anyone. I told myself you understood. And while your grace is abundant, I know now that compromise opens doors, and open doors invite things in. I see it now. What I allowed has become what I battle. So here I am, Lord, with no more justification, no more defense. Just surrender. I do not want anything in my life that weakens my discernment or dims the light you placed in me. I renounce every attitude, every behavior, every agreement I have made that gave the enemy access to my thoughts, my emotions, or my atmosphere. I break every silent partnership I have formed with fear, with lust, with self-pity, with jealousy, with resentment. I call out the things I once ignored. I shine light on what I once excused. I confess the moments when I chose what felt good over what was good. I bring them to you, not to hide behind shame, but to hand them over and say, I am done. I am done holding on to what slowly kills my hunger for you. I am done entertaining what blurs my convictions. I am done giving space in my mind to voices that do not echo your truth. I am done allowing comfort to speak louder than calling. I am done pretending neutrality is harmless. It is not. Every small yes to the wrong thing becomes a no to something you intended for me. And I want everything you intended. I want the fullness. I want the clarity. I want the fire in my spirit to burn again without the wet blankets I have thrown over it. God, I invite you into the details of my life. Search every room. Point out every open window, every unlocked door. Show me the habits that drain me. Show me the friendships that fuel dysfunction. Show me the patterns that repeat because I have refused to confront them. Show me the shortcuts I keep reaching for when you have asked me to walk through the process. And when you reveal them, give me the courage to remove them, not to manage them, not to reason with them, but to cut them off, no matter how attached I have become. No matter how much they have wrapped themselves around my routine. This is not about condemnation. This is about freedom. I do not want to carry chains and call them jewelry. I do not want to water weeds and expect fruit. I want to be honest, fully, deeply, uncomfortably if I must, because true freedom only comes when I bring the full truth into your presence. And the truth is, I have compromised, not in every area, but in enough places for it to matter, in enough ways that it has affected my peace, my clarity, my spiritual stamina. And now that I have seen it, I can unsee it, and I want to ignore it. So I draw a line today, a real one, in the quiet places where no one but you and I know what is happening, in the subtle ways I have slowly drifted, In the small permissions I have granted myself that made room for bigger problems, I take it all and lay it down. I do not want temporary satisfaction at the cost of long-term strength. I do not want ease that erodes purpose. I do not want acceptance from people if it means forfeiting alignment with you. I want to be clean. I want to be sharp. I want to be whole. And I know that begins with full surrender. Every thought that exalts itself against your truth, I bring into captivity. Every lie I believed, I now reject. Every compromise I made, I now confess. I choose obedience again, not out of fear, but out of desire, because I have tasted what happens when I live with divided loyalty, and I do not want to live that way anymore. I want the peace that comes with purity. I want the power that flows from holiness. Not perfection, but a heart fully yielded. A heart that does not play with fire and call it faith. A heart that does not flirt with sin and call it strength. A heart that walks away before the damage is done. And when I am tempted again, and I know I will be, help me remember this moment. Help me remember what it cost. Help me remember how much easier it is to resist before compromise becomes a pattern. Give me new instincts. Let conviction come quicker. Let discernment feel louder. Let my response to temptation not be curiosity, but clarity. Not hesitation, but holiness. Let me not be drawn to the edge just to see how close I can get. Let me run from it, run back to you. Run back to what is safe, not what is familiar. Father, I thank you that even in my compromise, you did not walk away, that even when I dulled my senses, you kept speaking, that even when I gave up territory, you waited to help me reclaim it. I thank you that nothing I hand over now is too broken for you to restore, that nothing I confess is too dark for you to cleanse, that nothing I have allowed is stronger than the power you have placed in me. So I do not pray from defeat. I pray from decision, a decision to choose you again, fully, boldly, without mixing truth with convenience. This is a turning, a holy return, and I know that as I leave compromise behind, I will find you waiting not with punishment, but with presence, not with disappointment, but with deliverance, not with shame, but with strength, because you are not a God who pushes away the humbled. You are a God who lifts the ones who bow in truth. And so I bow not to guilt, not pressure, but to grace. I surrender, not because I am forced, but because I finally want what you have wanted for me all along. Wholeness, purity, power, peace. The kind of life that is no longer divided, but fully devoted to the one who never stopped calling me back. Father, after breaking my agreement with compromise, I feel something deeper stirring, something older, something buried but not yet healed. I can feel where the roots go further than choices I have made. They wind through places where I have been wounded, places where pain became a lens and bitterness took root. As I turn back to you with a whole heart, I realize I cannot carry this hurt with me. I cannot walk in freedom if unforgiveness still chains me to people. Memories, or moments that left scars behind. I have confessed what I have done. Now I bring you what was done to me. Lord, I do not want to hold it anymore. The resentment, the anger, the heaviness that rises in my chest when I remember their words, their silence, their betrayal. I have carried the weight long enough. I have tried to bury it. I have tried to justify it, but it never truly left. It lingered in the background of my joy, whispered in moments of stillness, and poisoned parts of me I did not realize were infected. And now I see it for what it is: not protection, but a prison. Not strength, but shackles. And I want out. God, help me forgive, not because they deserve it, because I cannot keep letting their actions define my peace. I do not want their name to hold power in my thoughts. I do not want their shadow to follow me into the blessings you have prepared. I want my heart to be clear. I want my soul to be clean. I want to step forward unbound. So I release them, one by one. I speak their names silently before you, not to rehearse the pain, but to hand it to you. I give you the right to judge. I surrender my desire for revenge, for explanation, for justice that looks like apology. I lay it down, not because it did not matter, but because my healing matters more. I forgive the ones who left when I needed them most. I forgive the ones who used me, lied to me, forgot me. I forgive the ones who made me feel invisible, unworthy, not enough. I forgive the ones who meant harm, and the ones who never even noticed the hurt they caused. I forgive those who did not protect what was sacred. I forgive those who broke promises they never planned to keep. I forgive those who should have known better but did not care to. And in forgiving them, I take my life back. I reclaim every place where bitterness has stolen joy. I open every locked room where memories once echoed, and let your presence fill them instead. And Lord, I forgive myself too, for what I allowed, for what I missed, for what I stayed in too long, for not knowing better, for knowing and still staying, for the versions of me I had to be to survive. I let go of the shame that keeps looping through my thoughts. I release the self-condemnation that says I should be done more, spoken sooner, walked away earlier. I trust that even in my delays and detours, you were working. I do not need to punish myself anymore. I need to receive what you have always been offering: grace. Show me, God, where unforgiveness has shaped my behavior, where I have become guarded, harsh, distant, where I have built walls that do not just keep pain out, but love too, where I have projected my past onto people who were never the ones who hurt me. Teach me to trust again, not recklessly, but wisely. Let my healing not make me harder. Let it make me deeper, more discerning, but still soft enough to love, still open enough to receive, still brave enough to connect. And as I release all these weights, I ask you to begin the rebuilding, not just patchwork, not surface, but true restoration. I know some things want to be put back the way they were, and maybe that is grace too. Maybe you are making something stronger, more whole, more aligned with who you have always called me to be. So I open my hands not only to let go, but to receive new connections, new hope, new patterns, a new way of seeing myself, others, and you. Rebuild my identity where it was once shaped by rejection. Rebuild my peace where it was once shattered by conflict. Rebuild my ability to dream where disappointment taught me to settle. Rebuild my heart so that it beats in rhythm with yours again. I do not want to be defined by what hurt me. I want to be refined by how you healed me. I want my story to be marked not by pain, but by redemption. God, I thank you that I do not have to do this alone. That I do not have to pretend forgiveness is easy. That I can tell you when it still hurts, and you do not rush me, but you stay. That when the memories come back, you meet them with mercy. That when I feel the sting, you remind me that healing is not linear, but it is happening. I thank you that you are the God who walks with me through the mess and the memory and keeps speaking life into places where silence once ruled. Let the rebuilding begin with truth. Let it be shaped with honesty. Let it be sustained with grace. Let it be anchored in you. I do not want to rebuild on bitterness. I want a foundation that will not crack when the winds come. A soul that can love again. A heart that knows how to stay soft in a hard world. A life that echoes what you have done in me, not just in words, but in how I forgive, how I serve, how I choose peace over punishment. And Lord, if there are still pieces I have not yet released, bring them to the surface gently. If there are names I have buried out of fear or pride, whisper them back to me when I am ready. If there are old soul ties still entangling my spirit, cut them. If there are narratives I keep replaying that chain me to the past, rewrite them. I trust you with every part of this process. I trust that what feels like loss is actually freedom. I trust that what feels like emptiness is room for something sacred. I will not cling to pain out of habit. I will not carry what you are asking me to lay down. I will not let what they did become who I am. I choose forgiveness. I choose release. I choose rebuilding. And as I do, I choose you again more deeply, more freely, more fully, because you are the one who turns ruin into restoration. You are the one who makes beauty rise from the ashes I thought would bury me. You are the one who gives me the strength to say, I am letting go, and I am ready to live whole again. Father, now that I have released what was binding me and forgiven what once wounded me, I feel a new space inside me, an open ground where fear once lived. But now there is room for something greater, not just peace, not just healing, but strength, a redness I did not feel before. I have come through the quiet, through the tears, through the truth I did not want to face. Now I know I cannot move forward unprotected. I cannot wake into a world that wars against my soul and expect to stand unarmed. You have called me to rebuild, but you have also called me to resist. So today, I dress for battle. Lord, I come to you with a willing spirit, asking you to clothe me not with pretense, not with borrowed strength, but with the armor you have prepared for those who are ready to walk in truth. I begin with the belt of truth, Wrap it around me tight. Let it hold everything else in place. Let it remind me that what is not rooted in truth will never stand. Let it correct the narratives I tell myself when doubt speaks louder than your word. Let it silence the voice of fear with the reality of who you are and who I am in you. I will not be moved by lies. I will not walk in confusion. I will stand in the light of what is unshackable. Next, fasten the breastplate of righteousness to my heart. Cover the places that are still tender, still healing, still learning to trust again. Let my heart beat under the protection of purity. Not performance, not perfection, but direction, choosing again and again what is right, even when it costs. Let my motives be clean. Let my desires be refined. Let no bitterness or pride crack this armor. Guard my heart, Lord, for from it flows everything I say and do. Let my righteousness be yours, not something I manufacture, but something I receive because I walk with you. Now, I prepare my feet with the readiness of the gospel of peace. I will not stumble in chaos. I will not rush where you have not called me. I ask you to steady my steps. Let me carry peace wherever I go, not a passive peace that avoids conflict, but a courageous peace that confronts lies with love. Let my presence shift the atmosphere, because I walk in alignment with heaven. Make me swift to obey, slow to judge, and firm in faith. I will not wander. I will be rooted. I will walk in the direction you lead me, even if the ground feels unfamiliar. I take up the shield of faith, Lord, and I lift it high. Let it be my defense when accusations come, when doubt throws its fiery arrows, when discouragement whispers at the edges of my mind. Let it quench every lie that says I am not enough, that I will never change, that my prayers do not matter. Faith is not a feeling, it is my choice today. I choose to believe that what you said still stands, even when I cannot see the outcome. Choose to believe that you are still working, even when the waiting grows long. I choose to believe that no weapon formed against me will prosper, because my shield is not made of willpower, but of your promises. And upon my head, I place the helmet of salvation. Cover my thoughts, God. Guard my mind from the noise of the world. Protect my imagination from the schemes that want to root fear instead of hope. Let every lie that says I am forgotten, unloved, or too far gone be shattered by the truth of your salvation. I belong to you. I am redeemed. I am a new creation. I am not who I used to be, and I will not return to chains you already broke. Let my thoughts stay anchored in truth. Let my mind be sound, focused, alert. Let me carry the calm confidence of someone who knows they are saved, chosen, and deeply loved. Finally, I take hold of the sword of the Spirit, which is your word, not just words on a page, but living truth with power to pierce, to divide, to reveal. Teach me how to wield it. Teach me how to speak your word over my life, over my battles, over my family, over every situation that tries to stand in the way of your will. Let me be bold in my declarations. Let me cut through confusion with clarity. Let me strike down lies with what you have already spoken. Let my prayers be sharp, not timid. Let my voice carry authority, not from pride, but from intimacy with you. I know the enemy will not be silent just because I have forgiven, just because I have healed, just because I have seen the truth. In fact, I expect resistance, but now I am ready, not because I am strong on my own, but because I no longer walk exposed. I am covered, clothed, equipped. I am not just a survivor. I am a warrior in your kingdom, and I do not fight for victory. I fight from it, because you already won. Because the cross was enough, because death lost its sting, and darkness cannot overcome the light I carry inside me. So I stand not in fear, not in hesitation, but in full awareness. I stand knowing that temptation will come dressed in old habits, familiar faces, carefully crafted thoughts. But I am not who I was. I am not easy prey. I am alert. I am discerning. And I am armed. I will not go into today hoping for strength. I step into today declaring it, because I am clothed with what you have given, and I wear it not with pride, with purpose. Let me not take this armor off when the day feels easy. Let me not lay it down when comfort returns. Let me not forget that every morning is a battleground. Even if the battlefield is silent, let me stay dressed for the unseen, alert to the spiritual, confident in the eternal. And if ever I feel myself slipping, if ever I forget what I carry, whisper to me again. Remind me to put it all back on, piece by piece, truth by truth. You never told me to fight naked. You gave me everything I need. And now I walk with it, not with noise, not with drama, but with quiet strength, with holy resolve, with the steadiness of someone who knows the war may rage, but the outcome is secure. I do not fear the battle anymore. I just get dressed for it. And today, I am dressed, I am ready, and I am not alone. Father, now that I am fully clothed in your armor, I refuse to stand still and wait for the next attack. I will not live on defense alone. I will not let the enemy gain ground while I stay silent. You have not only equipped me to withstand, you have empowered me to dismantle. You have given me the authority to cancel what was sent to destroy me, to speak against every dark assignment formed in secret. So this morning, I step into the authority you have placed within me, not timidly, not hesitantly, but with full awareness of whose name I carry and what power lives in my spirit. God, I speak to every plan the enemy has written in the shadows concerning my life, and I declare them broken now. Every word spoken against me in bitterness or envy, I sever it at its root. Every curse whispered behind my back, every false prophecy, every malicious thought, every spiritual plot spoken in places I cannot see, I reject and reverse it. I do not need to know the details to know they will not succeed. Your word has already declared the end of every weapon that has ever been formed against me. It may have been crafted, it may have been aimed, but it will not prosper. That is not a suggestion, it is a divine guarantee. Lord, I take authority over every generational pattern that was meant to repeat, the cycles of fear, dysfunction, addiction, betrayal, poverty, shame. I say they stop with me. I will not carry what you already defeated. I will not wear chains I have been freed from. I will not inherit wounds that you healed on the cross. I dismantle every blueprint the enemy tried to pass down through bloodlines. What was formed in the past will not govern my future. What tormented my ancestors will not torment me. I am not bound by history. I am bound by covenant. And my covenant is with the one who breaks every chain. Expose, Lord, every door the enemy tried to slip through while I was unaware. Any foothold gained through fear, offense, wariness, or doubt, I close them now. I shut down every access point. I cleanse every place in my mind, my heart, my body, and my spirit that has unknowingly hosted darkness. I call forth a divine eviction of every unclean influence. There is no agreement too old, no word too hidden, no trap too subtle that your spirit cannot uncover and destroy. So I invite you to search every part of me and bring to light what must go. God, I speak over my household, my family, and my legacy. I declare that every assignment against my home is null and void. No spirit of division will take root. No spirit of confusion will cloud the atmosphere. No discouragement will dominate our days. No fear will dwell in our walls. I declare that every device formed to cause strife, resentment, or silence will crumble. The peace of God reigns here. The voice of God leads here. The joy of the Lord is our portion here. What the enemy has whispered in the dark will be shouted down by truth. And that truth is this: you dwell in our midst, and where you are, no evil can remain. Father, I cancel every delay sent to frustrate my destiny, every unnecessary detour, every counterfeit opportunity, every distraction that was meant to slow me down. I sever their ties. I will not be tricked into going where you did not lead me. I will not lose momentum chasing what only looks good on the surface. My time is redeemed. My energy is reclaimed. My purpose is intact. I refuse to wander in confusion when you have already paved the way. Illuminate it now. Let every fog of uncertainty be lifted. Let every step be ordered. Let every trap collapse before I even approach it. I come against every lie that was planted in childhood, every voice that said I was not enough, every label that was placed over me by people who could not see what you were forming. I declare that those words have no authority here. They may have shaped some moments, but they will not shape my identity. I am not what they said. I am who you say I am, and what you say stands forever. You say I am chosen, I am seen, I am set apart, I am beloved, and that word silences every accusation. Let every whisper of condemnation fall flat. Let every inner critic be hushed by the roar of your spirit. Let every lingering shadow of guilt dissolve under the weight of grace. I speak freedom over every thought that has held me hostage. I speak release over every area where shame once dictated my decisions. No more tiptoeing through life as if I do not belong. No more shrinking back. No more letting the enemy narrate my story with half-truths and twisted memories. I rewrite the narrative with your promises. Father, I take authority over my atmosphere. Let every place I walk be shifted by what I carry. Let no space stay the same when I enter. Because I bring light with me, let heaviness lift. Let confusion break. Let darkness flee. Let what is hidden be revealed. Let what is crooked be made straight. Let your name be exalted in every space I step into, not because I shout it loudly, but because I carry it faithfully. Let my presence enforce your presence. Let my peace be evidence that the Prince of Peace is near. God, if there is any lingering resistance in me, any fear that makes me hesitate, any insecurity that makes me question, burn it away. Replace it with confidence rooted in you, not in what I have done, but in what you have declared, not in what I feel, but in what I know. I am not at the mercy of what the enemy has planned. He is at the mercy of what you have spoken, and you have spoken life. You have spoken hope. You have spoken victory. So I rise in that truth. I walk in that boldness. I cancel every assignment not from you and enforce every promise that is. Let the air shift as I speak. Let the ground move as I pray. Let the unseen realm recognize that I am not passive, not distracted, not asleep. I am awake. I am aligned. I am anointed to uproot and tear down, to plant and to build. And I do so in your name. No assignment will go unchecked. No curse will be left unbroken. No dark scheme will escape the light of my declaration. The line is drawn. The orders have changed. I do not wait for breakthrough, I speak it. I do not hope for freedom, I declare it. I do not wonder if I am covered, I know it. The assignments have been canceled. The atmosphere has shifted, and heaven stands behind every word of it. Father, after canceling every assignment that was crafted to pull me away from purpose, I sense the battleground shifting to a more personal place, my own mind. This is where so many wars begin. This is where lies grow roots. This is where distractions find their voice, and where peace is either nurtured or lost. So now, I come before you not to war against what is around me, but what is within me. The thoughts that wander without restraint, the whispers that do not belong, the images that replay like shadows behind my eyes, the noise that does not stop even when the world outside is still. I bring all of it to you. Lord, I lay bare every part of my inner world, the memories that try to rewrite my worth, the assumptions that echo louder than truth, the anxiety that attaches itself to imagined outcomes, the inner critic that has spoken in a voice I thought was mine, but was never yours. I have entertained thoughts too long that should have been cast out. I have tolerated voices in my head that you never authored. And now I say enough. I surrender my mind to you, completely, fully, without exception. Let no idea remain that does not bow to your truth. Guard my thoughts, God. Let them no longer drift with the winds of insecurity or fear. Let them no longer bend to the pressure of comparison. Let them no longer shrink under the weight of what ifs and what could go wrongs. You have said, I have the mind of Christ. That is not poetry. That is a promise. So I take hold of that promise now. I declare over myself that I do not have to live ruled by worry. I do not have to live shackled by past conclusions. I do not have to keep thinking what I have always thought. Transformation begins here, and I choose it. I bring every stray thought under obedience. When fear rises, I will answer it with truth. When doubt speaks, I will respond with faith. When anxiety knocks, I will answer with peace, and I will not do it alone. Your spirit lives inside me. You are the filter. You are the gatekeeper. You are the one who gives discernment before lies take hold. Help me notice when the pattern begins. Help me name it before it grows. Let me not passively absorb, but actively guard. This mind is not a dumping ground. It is a sanctuary where you dwell. Renew me, Lord, where I have become mentally exhausted, not just tired in body, but fatigued from carrying unspoken mental burdens, from rehearsing worst-case scenarios, from spinning endless conversations in my head, from trying to control outcomes that are not mine to carry. I release it all. I unclench my grip. I exhale the weight of mental clutter and inhale the simplicity of your nearness. Let your peace flow like water through every corridor of my consciousness. Let it cleanse the toxic residue left by years of worry, regret, and internal unrest. Speak over my mind, God. Speak louder than the thoughts that do not serve me. Replace the loops of condemnation with declarations of grace. Let Scripture rise within me like a response, not just on paper, but in real time. When I am tempted to spiral, let your word interrupt. When I am tempted to linger on something harmful, let your spirit prompt me to shift. Teach me the discipline of redirecting, the maturity of silence, the wisdom to know when to dwell and when to dismiss. I do not want to dwell on things that erode my joy. I want to meditate on what strengthens my soul. God, restore my focus. It has been scattered, pulled in so many directions by demands and distractions. But I believe you can bring it back. Teach me to be present, fully, not stuck in the future, not haunted by the past. Here, right now, let my thoughts be anchored in what is good, pure, lovely, and worthy of praise. Let me think on things that build me up, not tear me down. Let me think on you not as an obligation, but as oxygen. Let my first instinct in quiet moments be communion, not consumption. Let my imagination be shaped not by fear, but by the hope of what you can do. If I have given parts of my mind to things that drain me, constant scrolling, needless arguments, unhealthy fascination with what does not feed my spirit, pull me out of it. Show me where my attention has been hijacked. Show me where my curiosity has become compromise. Show me where I have allowed entertainment to dull my discernment. And when you show me, give me the strength to choose different, to shut it down, to walk away, to replace it with something that brings life. Because I have learned that what I allow in my mind eventually shows up in my choices, and I want my choices to reflect you. Let me be mentally disciplined, not in a way that breeds control or anxiety, but in a way that nurtures clarity and peace. Let me be aware of what thoughts are forming in me. Let me ask where they lead before I follow. Let me become skilled at catching what does not belong and inviting your truth in its place. Make me a good steward of this space inside my head. I want it to be a place where faith grows, where gratitude finds a home, where joy is safe to dwell, a place where hope lives not because everything is perfect, but because you are present. And God, for the mental battles that are deeper, for the traumas, the chemical struggles, The tangled roots that I cannot sort through alone, I ask for your healing hand, for supernatural intervention, for divine clarity, for wise counselors and spiritual covering. I will not be ashamed of the process of healing. I will not pretend that faith means I feel fine. I invite you into the places I do not understand yet, the memories that do not make sense, the thoughts that still feel foreign. I trust that nothing in my mind is too broken for you to restore. From this moment forward, I draw a new boundary. My mind is not the playground of the enemy. My imagination is not available for fear to rent space. My thoughts are no longer free real estate for lies to dwell. I belong to you, every part of me, especially the part that no one sees, especially the place where battles begin and victories are first imagined. I choose to win the war in my mind so that peace can reign in my life. And I believe that even now, as I speak, something is shifting. I may not feel it all at once, but I trust that you are already doing the work. So I walk into this day not just with a dressed spirit, but with a renewed mind, not just ready for the outer battle, but victorious in the inner one. My thoughts are aligned. My perspective is lifted. My mind is guarded. And with every step I take, I carry the quiet confidence of someone who has reclaimed the most powerful battlefield and handed it back to the one who never loses a fight. Lord, now that my thoughts are realigned and my mind has found stillness under your covering, I hear the shift in the silence. It is not always the loud attacks that do the most damage. It is the subtle accusations that come like a whisper, like a familiar voice echoing through the quiet, trying to convince me that freedom is not mine to hold. But I know where this voice comes from. I know who it serves, and I will no longer listen. I come before you to confront the old strategy the enemy has used too long. Shame dressed as truth, guilt pretending to be conviction, lies masquerading as memory. Father, I bring every unspoken weight I have carried into this sacred space. The thoughts I never dared say aloud, the things I have done that still haunt me in moments of stillness, the regret that has settled like dust on the corners of my spirit. I bring them all into the light now, not to relive them, but to finally surrender them, because you are not asking me to rehearse what you have already redeemed. You are not asking me to punish myself for what you have already forgiven. And so, I choose freedom for every mistake that tries to define me. I declare it powerless in the face of your mercy, for every failure that echoes back when I reach for more. I silence its grip with the truth of your grace. You did not call me to live in cycles of condemnation. You did not redeem me just to watch me crawl through shame. Your blood was enough. Your cross finished what I keep trying to redo. So let me stop trying to pay the debt you already erased. I am not who I was. That version of me has been buried with you. And the life I now live, I live by faith, not by guilt, not by regret, not by the accusations of the past. I walk forward without the chains that once wrapped around my thoughts, my emotions, my choices. Because you did not just save me from punishment, you saved me from shame. You washed not only the record, but the residue. You did not just forgive me, you made me new. God, help me recognize the voice of the accuser the moment he speaks. Help me remember that conviction draws me to you, but condemnation pushes me away. Teach me to distinguish the two. Teach me to refuse the thoughts that tell me I am still dirty, still disqualified, still stuck in yesterday. I will not agree with darkness. I will not echo the enemy's accusations. I will say what you say, even when it feels hard to believe, even when it stretches me, even when it is easier to settle in sorrow. I will speak freedom until my soul catches up with truth. Speak louder than my guilt, Lord. Let your love interrupt the spiral. Let your mercy cut through the noise. Remind me that I am not the worst thing I have ever done. I am not the sum of what others did to me. I am not the label my past tried to write across my identity. I am yours, chosen, clean, redeemed, and not because of what I have done, but because of who you are. Your grace redefines every broken piece of me. Even now, I feel the weight lifting. I feel the breath return to places that had been choked by old shame. I feel space expanding in my heart where guilt once lived. I feel light replacing heaviness. This is what you do. You do not just cover me. You restore me. You do not just rescue me. You remind me who I was always meant to be before the fall, before the stain, before the lies got written in ink. You erase what was never meant to remain and rewrite my name with the ink of mercy. Lord, even when my emotions have not yet caught up with truth, help me to live from it anyway. Even when I still feel unworthy, remind me that you declared me worthy. Even when I feel unqualified, remind me that you call the unqualified and clothe them in your strength. Let my faith grow louder than my shame. Let my praise be stronger than my regret. Let my posture reflect the joy of someone set free, not the slump of someone still imprisoned by old stories. And when the enemy tries to remind me of my past, let me remind him of his future. When I am tempted to rehearse the list of my wrongs, let me instead recite the promises of your word. When shame tries to settle on my shoulders, let me shrug it off like a worn-out coat that no longer fits who I have become. I will not live beneath what you already lifted off me. I will not drag chains into a day you have already declared free. Cleanse the internal dialogue that has become too familiar. That voice that says you always mess up. You will never be enough. You do not deserve peace. I break agreement with every sentence that starts with defeat and ends with despair. I replace it with truth. I am a new creation. I am being renewed daily. I am more than a conqueror. Not because I feel it yet, but because you said it, and I trust you more than my own emotions. Lord, for every area of my life still marked by shame, whether public or private, shine your healing light. If I have hidden things from others, let me bring them to the surface in your timing with wisdom and courage. If I have buried things from myself, give me the strength to face them with you by my side. I am not afraid of truth anymore, because you are truth, and you lead not with harshness, but with healing. Every step with you is toward restoration. Never humiliation. Let this day be different. Let me walk through it as someone who is not just forgiven, but truly free. Let my shoulders relax, because I am not carrying anything you have not called me to bear. Let my face shine, because I am not wearing shame anymore. Let my words carry grace, because I know what it is like to receive it. Let my presence invite others into the freedom I have found, not through perfection, but through transparency, not because I am flawless, but because I am redeemed. And when I stand in the mirror and feel the old accusations creep in, when I see the reflection of who I used to be, remind me to look deeper, to see the imprint of your hand, to recognize the eyes of someone loved deeply and fully, someone bought at a price too high to be wasted in self-loathing, someone made holy not by effort, but by your embrace. I choose to believe that you see me with joy, not disappointment, with love, not frustration, with delight, not disapproval. God, silence the voice of guilt with the sound of your mercy. Drown the echoes of regret with the chorus of redemption. Take every false accusation and nail it to the cross, where it lost its power forever. I am no longer available to condemnation. I do not belong to shame. I am seated with you in heavenly places, not crawling in the dust of what used to be. And I step into today wearing the robe of righteousness you laid on my shoulders, not to impress, but to walk in confidence that I am clean and I am yours. Father, as I begin this morning in the soft glow of your presence, I feel how you are still working deep within me, calling me into places I have avoided, asking me to walk into terrain where my heart has once been wounded. The burden you lift from me in shame now makes space for another quiet but heavy weight, the ones I have not yet forgiven, those who have hurt me, disappointed me, betrayed me, forgotten me. And as you whisper of freedom, I know it cannot be complete until I let go of what I have clutched so tightly, my right to remain angry, to remember the wrong, to replay the story that has kept me stuck. Lord, teach me what forgiveness really means, not the shallow gesture of empty words, not the quiet nod to avoid conflict, but the holy act of releasing someone from the prison I have built in my mind. Show me how to open the locked doors inside my heart, where bitterness has lived far too long. Help me to no longer justify keeping the pain, because I feel they never paid for what they did. You did not ask me to wait until they apologized. You asked me to forgive, because freedom is not about fairness, it is about healing. God, I bring before you every face that stirs discomfort in me, every memory that leaves a bruise when it surfaces. I hold them up in my spirit now, not to curse them, not to punish them, but to surrender them. Not because they earned it, but because I no longer want to carry the cost of unforgiveness. It has drained me long enough. It has stolen my peace, my joy, my ability to love fully, and I am done living with a clenched soul. I want to breathe again. Father, give me the courage to forgive those who never said sorry, who may never say sorry, who went on with their lives while I stayed entangled in the wreckage. Remind me that I do not have to be close to someone to forgive them. I do not need to allow access again to offer release. Forgiveness does not erase boundaries, it establishes them. I can love without letting myself be broken again. I can let go without pretending it never hurt. And I can choose peace without pretending the wound was not real. I confess the names I have held in my heart with resentment, the situations I have replayed over and over, hoping they would somehow change. I name the pain not to nourish it, but to uproot it, to expose it to your healing light, because I trust you more than I trust my own desire for justice. I trust that you see what I cannot see, that you know how to bring truth without destruction, redemption without denial, and mercy without minimizing the H. Lord, forgive me for the ways I have allowed unforgiveness to twist itself into righteousness, when I use the pain as an excuse for coldness, when I rehearse the harm as a way to feel justified in closing my heart. I know now that the longer I hold on to the offense, the deeper it burrows into my soul, and if I am not careful, it becomes part of how I see myself, wounded, guarded, and disconnected. I do not want that anymore. I want to see with clear eyes again. I want to speak with a clean heart again. I want to wake up unburdened by the past. Let me forgive the quiet betrayals to the disappointments that never made a scene, but still left me feeling unseen. The moments when I expected support, but received silence. The times I gave and was not given back. The friendships that faded without explanation. The trust that was chipped away, not in one event, but by 1,000 small letdowns. I forgive it all, not in my strength, but in yours. Because I have been forgiven too many times to count. And you did not hesitate when I came to you broken. You welcomed me before I got it right. So how could I not do the same? And even now, God, as I say this, I feel the resistance rising. That part of me that still says, but what if they do it again? Or what if they never change? But you remind me I am not responsible for them. I am only responsible for what I carry in my heart. My healing is not contingent on their transformation. My peace does not depend on their understanding. You did not call me to monitor their growth, only to release my grip on the past. Help me also to forgive myself, Lord, for the things I said when I was hurting, for the times I allowed my pain to become someone else's burden, for the opportunities I missed because I was still holding a grudge, for the moments I was not able to love as you love me. Remind me that I too am human, and in need of grace not just from others, but from within. I can move forward when I am still punishing myself. I can live free while dragging my past mistakes like anchors tied to my ankles. God, make me a person who carries light, not weight. Let forgiveness become the rhythm of my life, not an occasional act, but a daily choice. When I feel the sting return, let me choose release again. When the memory resurfaces, let me meet it with mercy. Let forgiveness become my response, not because I am weak, but because I am strong enough to choose healing over revenge, wholeness over pride, peace over pain. Show me what it looks like to truly live forgiven and forgiving. Let my words reflect it. Let my posture reflect it. Let my relationships carry the aroma of grace. Let people encounter kindness in me that they did not expect and may never understand. Let my life be a testimony of what freedom really looks like when I no longer need an apology to be at peace. When I no longer carry the wound like a badge, but wear your love like a robe. And when I wake up tomorrow and maybe still feel the H, let that not be failure, but an invitation, A reminder that forgiveness is not a moment, but a journey, that I can keep choosing it each day, just like you keep choosing to love me through all my moments of wandering, doubting, failing, and returning. Help me to show that same mercy to others, not just in word, but in action, in thought, in quiet surrender when no one else sees. So today, Lord, I walk lighter, not because the pain did not happen, but because I no longer needed to prove anything. Not because justice was done, but because mercy is greater. I choose freedom over control. I choose love over anger. I choose peace over punishment. I choose to walk in the echo of your forgiveness, offering what I have received, and trusting that in letting go, I will always find you waiting to fill the space with something more beautiful than I imagined. Father, as I rise in the stillness of this morning, I am reminded once more of how fragile and yet how fiercely resilient the human heart can be. After laying down the burdens of resentment, after loosening the grip of past wounds, I feel my soul standing more upright, more ready to face what lies ahead. And yet, even in this newfound lightness, I confess that part of me still trembles before the unknowns of today. What will come? Who I will meet? What pressures will press? What news might unsettle the balance I am trying to build? And so I come to you, asking not for a life free from challenge, for courage to walk through whatever the day may hold without shrinking back. Lord, courage does not always roar. Sometimes it looks like steady hands preparing breakfast, while the heart is anxious. Sometimes it is the simple act of showing up again, even after yesterday's disappointment. Sometimes it is found in the quiet refusal to give up, the soft yes to begin again, the brave decision to keep going even when nothing feels certain. Let that kind of courage rise in me now. Let it take root, not loud, not boastful, but deep and unwavering. God, you have always met humanity in moments of fear. You met Moses at the edge of his doubt, Gideon in the press of his hiding place, Mary in the stillness of uncertainty. They were not fearless, but they were willing. And because they trusted you more than their fear, they stepped into their calling. Let me do the same. I do not need to have it all figured out. I do not need to be impressive. I need only to be present, present with you, present in this day, and willing to be led where I would not go alone. Strengthen my heart against the fears that creep in dressed like logic, the thoughts that whisper, what if you fail? Or what if you are not enough? Remind me that you are already in my tomorrow, that what waits ahead has already passed through your hand, that no challenge can arise outside of your awareness, that nothing can separate me from your presence, no matter how uncertain the path may feel. Help me to lean not on my own understanding, but on the quiet knowing that you go before me and walk beside me. Father, I ask for courage in the small things, the words I need to speak, even if they make me vulnerable, the decisions I need to make even when I fear their outcome, the steps I must take even when I do not know where they will lead, courage to choose honesty over comfort, courage to confront what needs healing instead of avoiding it, courage to love fully, even when it risks pain, courage to believe in goodness, even when the world feels dark. Let me walk today with a spirit that does not flinch. Let me carry myself as one who has been entrusted with a mission, even if that mission is simply to offer kindness in every room I enter, to hold my integrity when no one is watching, to speak truth without sharpness, to hold boundaries without bitterness, to respond with grace when I am misunderstood. This is not weakness. This is not passivity. This is the strength of someone who knows who holds their life together. God, I lift to you the specific places where my courage is thin, the situations I already dread, the conversations that bring tension, the moments I anticipate rejection or feel unseen. Meet me in those spaces with your peace that surpasses understanding, not just to soothe me, but to infuse me with conviction. I do not ask to avoid discomfort. I ask to be unshaken in the middle of it. And if today brings news I was not ready for, if a door closes that I thought would open, if a hope is delayed yet again, keep me from collapsing inward. Let me breathe deep and anchor myself, not in what changes, but in what remains constant, your faithfulness. Let that steadiness become mine. Let me face each twist and turn with eyes that stay lifted, a mind that stays clear, and a heart that remains open to possibility. Let courage find me, even in rest, not in business or striving, but in stillness. Let me not be afraid to pause, to slow down, to listen, to do less when less is what is needed. Teach me the bravery of silence, the boldness of patience, the strength of simply being still and knowing you are God. And I do not need to carry the world on my shoulders. When I begin to compare myself to others today, when I feel behind or small or invisible, remind me that you have written a unique journey for me, that courage is not measured in applause, but in obedience. That boldness is not always about visibility, but about faithfulness. I may not be called to the loud places, but I am called to be light where I stand. Help me to stand tall in that. Remind me too that courage is contagious, that my quiet bravery may be the seed of someone else's breakthrough, that my willingness to keep showing up with gentleness and conviction may strengthen the wary heart beside me. Use me as a vessel, not just to be brave, but to inspire bravery. Let my life carry a courage that is grounded in compassion, rooted in trust, and flowing from a deep place of being known and loved by you. And when I doubt myself again, as I surely will, when fear tries to sneak in through the cracks, let me speak back with truth. I am not alone. I am not helpless. I am not unworthy. I was created for this moment. I have been prepared, not with ease, but with grace. Not with all the answers, but with deep conviction. I am here, and I am enough not because I have everything, but because I have you. Let today be marked by courage, not dramatic or grand, but authentic and grounded. Let the way I carry myself be a quiet declaration of faith. Let my presence reflect the steadiness of one who knows their source. And may this strength, this confidence, this unshaken peace follow me through every hour, every encounter, every challenge, like a steady flame that cannot be extinguished by the winds of this world. Lord, as the light of this morning continues to stretch across the sky, I come with a quieter heart, one made steady through courage, now ready to seek clarity, There are moments when I feel so strong in my convictions, and yet others where I hesitate, unsure of what step to take next. I do not want to drift aimlessly through the motions of this day. I want to move with purpose, with eyes open and spirit grounded in the wisdom that flows from you. The kind of wisdom that does not confuse or pressure, but invites and directs. The kind of wisdom that gives shape to peace, even before outcomes are revealed. Father, I often carry questions I do not voice aloud. What should I pursue next? Where am I meant to pour my time and my energy? What is truly mine to carry? And what should I gently place back into your hands? It is in these in-between spaces, where certainty is absent, that I ask for something more valuable than answers. I ask for discernment, the kind that quiets the noise and sharpens my listening. The kind that does not rush but waits on your whisper. Help me recognize the difference between what looks right and what is truly right. Let me not chase the glittering paths that lead to emptiness, nor ignore the narrow roads that are rich with meaning. If I am tempted to follow comfort, show me where courage calls. If I am drawn toward ego, remind me of humility's reward. If I am stuck in fear, gently nudge me forward with your truth as my guide. Let every choice today flow from a place deeper than logic alone, a place shaped by your spirit and aligned with your will. God, I know you are not distant or silent. You do not hide direction like a secret treasure. You reveal it patiently, through the peace that settles in our gut, through the quiet confirmations that echo when we pay attention, through the gentle restraint that holds us back when we are about to run too fast. So help me be attentive to your cues. Help me to slow down when everything around me tells me to speed up. Help me to trust that even if I can only see the next small step, it is enough. You are not asking me to see the whole staircase, only to trust the one who built it. Let my decisions today be rooted not in the fear of missing out, but in the confidence that your timing is never late. I do not need to prove anything. I do not need to force what is not yet ready. I do not need to manipulate outcomes to feel secure. I am learning that wisdom sometimes tells me to wait. Sometimes it asks me to act with boldness. Sometimes it invites me to say no, and other times to say yes, even when I feel inadequate. Give me the courage to follow your wisdom, even when it sets me apart. Lord, if I must walk a path that others do not understand, let me do it with grace, not resentment. If I must make a decision that feels lonely but true, give me the strength to stand in it. If I must change course because you are redirecting me, let me release what I held onto too tightly. Let me not confuse noise with direction, or applause with affirmation. Let my inner compass be tuned to what brings lasting fruit, not fleeting approval. Help me choose my words carefully today. Let my speech reflect discernment, not reaction. Let my silence be wise, not indifferent. Let my responses carry patience, even when I am tempted to defend myself or rush to conclusions. Fill me with the kind of insight that notices what lies beneath the surface, that sees people not only by their actions, but by their pain and their potential. Give me a heart that discerns gently, not one that judges harshly. And when I am asked for advice or guidance, let me never pretend to know what I do not. Let me speak with humility. acknowledging that I too am learning. Let me point others toward you, not toward my own opinions. Let wisdom not puff me up, but humble me further into a posture of listening and serving. Teach me that true wisdom is not about having all the answers, but knowing how to keep seeking, how to keep listening, how to keep trusting. Lord, I give you the choices that lie ahead, the visible and the hidden, the small and the significant. Choices about how to respond when I am misunderstood. Choices about how to spend my time. Choices about whom to trust, where to invest, what to release, and what to pursue. I do not want to drift into these moments thoughtlessly. I want to move with intention. I want my life to be shaped by purpose, not pressure. I want to live with the kind of clarity that reflects a soul deeply aligned with you. If there are doors that must remain closed, let me not push them. If there are new beginnings I must step into, give me the resolve to do so with grace. And if there is something you are asking me to surrender, be it a plan, a dream, a relationship, or a fear, help me to release it not as a loss, but as an offering. You are not trying to take from me, but to free me. Free me to walk in alignment with your design, not my limited understanding. Let wisdom become the undercurrent of all I do today. Let it shape how I work, how I speak, how I relate, and how I rest. Let it lead me to pause when I need to breathe, to engage when I am needed, to risk when it is right, and to hold back when the moment is not yet full. I do not want to be led by impulse or insecurity. I want to be led by peace, by insight, by the quiet voice that speaks with weight and kindness from within. God, in this quiet morning light, I lift up all of the undecided things. The forks in the road I sense approaching, the uncertainties that still feel too large to name, the tensions that linger unresolved. Let none of them steal my peace. Let me be present, alert, and anchored in the assurance that I do not walk this day alone. You go with me, and your wisdom goes before me. That is enough. That is everything. Let today be marked not by the quantity of my accomplishments, but by the quality of my decisions, not by the loudness of my progress, but by the quiet steadiness of being in step with you. And as the hours unfold, may wisdom become my companion, subtle, strong, and always near. Lord, in the stillness that follows clarity, I bring to you the weight of my humanness. Yesterday's resolve may be firm, but I know that even the strongest intentions can tremble under pressure. I do not want to walk this day pretending I am more than I am. I want to walk with honesty, rooted in the grace you pour into my weaknesses. Because even when I choose wisdom and intention, I remain someone who stumbles, forgets, hesitates, and sometimes withdraws into the small corners of fear or fatigue. And yet, I know you do not turn away. You meet me in the very places I try to hide from. You enter my fragile moments not with condemnation, but with compassion. Father, I feel it even now, the parts of me that still carry weariness, that feel unworthy, that struggle to believe I am enough to face the tasks ahead. There are moments when I hear the voice of doubt out louder than the voice of truth. Moments when I replay past failures and wonder if they have disqualified me from the joy or peace you freely give. But in the light of your presence, I remember that grace was never something I could earn. It is given because you are good, not because I am flawless. You hold no illusions about who I am. You know every detail of my story, every hesitation, every regret, every tear, and still you call me by name. God, help me receive that grace again today, not as an abstract idea, but as something that wraps itself around my soul like a gentle covering. Let it touch the parts of me that feel too bruised to move forward. Let it whisper truth into the lies I have carried too long. Let it remind me that you are not waiting for perfection, but for openness, that you do not ask me to be unbreakable, only willing to come to you just as I am. There are pieces of me I have tried to fix with willpower, alone habits I want to outgrow, attitudes I wish I could flip like a switch, responses I regret as soon as they happen. I lay them before you not as a failure, but as an offering. I ask not for instant change, but for daily renewal. Help me to walk the slow, faithful road of transformation, knowing that even the smallest step toward healing matters. Let my weakness become a doorway through which your strength enters, not a reason to retreat from purpose. Father, remind me that when I reach the end of myself, I am not at the end of hope, that your power is made perfect in weakness, not in performance, that I can lean into you when I feel undone. And when I try to carry more than I should, whisper gently for me to let go, to trust that surrender is not the same as defeat, that surrender is the beginning of peace. Let today be a day where I stop striving to prove and start learning to receive. Let me not measure my value by productivity or praise, but by the fact that I am deeply loved even on my least impressive days. That I am held not because I am strong, but because you are. That I belong, not because I always get it right, but because you made room for me long before I even reached for you. When I am tempted to hide my struggles or pretend I am fine when I am not, give me the courage to be honest with you, with others, with myself. Let vulnerability not be a source of shame, but a path to connection. Let my openness be a testimony that grace lives here, not just in the polished moments, but in the messy, uncertain, unresolved places where real healing begins. And when I encounter others today who are walking through weakness of their own, remind me to lead with compassion, not critique, to offer the kind of grace I hope to receive, to listen without rushing to fix, to support without needing to be the hero. Let me see their humanness as sacred, just as you see mine. Let me reflect your gentleness in how I respond, how I speak, how I hold space. Lord, even in this quiet moment, I feel you drawing near not with a list of expectations, but with arms that welcome. Not with pressure to be more, but with presence that reminds me I am already enough to be loved, enough to be guided, enough to be renewed. This day may hold challenges I did not plan for. It may test me in places I thought were strong. It may bring emotions I can't quite explain. But none of it will push me out of your reach. You will still be here, patient, kind, and unwavering. When my energy fades, be the strength beneath it. When my hope flickers, be the breath that keeps it burning. When I forget who I am, Be the voice that gently reminds me, I am yours. I am not alone. I am not beyond redemption. I am not too broken to be used. Let my imperfections not disqualify me from purpose, but deepen my empathy, broaden my grace, and anchor me in dependence on you. Let me stop chasing the illusion of having it all together and embrace the reality of walking with the one who holds it all together for me. Today, I do not need to pretend. I do not need to strive. I do not need to impress. I just need to stay close to listen, to breathe, to receive, to take one step, then another, trusting that grace is enough for each one. And if I falter, if I forget, if I fall short, meet me there, too, not with shame, but with understanding, not with distance, but with tenderness, not with punishment, but with promise, because you never stop reaching, never stop restoring, never stop calling me forward, even when I am limping instead of running. Let me live this day rooted in that grace, not as a backup plan, but as my foundation. Let it reshape how I see myself, how I move through the world, how I speak to others and to my own soul. Let it quiet my striving and amplify my peace. Let it be the melody that plays beneath every thought, every task, every breath. And as this morning unfolds into whatever it is meant to become, let my weakness no longer feel like a burden, but like an invitation to lean deeper into you, to trust more fully, to walk not with fear, but with the quiet assurance that even in my frailty, I am seen, known, and deeply loved. God, as I continue walking with you through the tender moments of this morning, I feel the steady rhythm of your grace beneath my feet. The more I lean into you, the more I begin to understand that peace is not the absence of storms, but the calm assurance that you are in the boat with me. You do not promise a life without hardship, but you promise yourself, and that is greater than any escape from adversity. And so, I return to this place again, this quiet space where my soul finds rest, not because my circumstances have shifted, but because your presence has become the anchor that keeps me steady. Lord, I do not know what this day will hold. I do not know which winds may rise or which tides may shift, but I know that my feet are planted in something stronger than fear. I no longer have to live in reaction to uncertainty. I do not have to brace myself for every possible outcome. I can stand in stillness, even while the world moves wildly around me, because my peace does not come from control. It comes from connection, from knowing that no matter what comes, you are near, and you are enough. There are still corners of my heart that clench when I anticipate trouble, old reflexes of self-protection that stir when I feel exposed or overwhelmed. And yet, even those parts are softening. You are teaching me not to numb, not to run, not to fight shadows with shadows, but to breathe, to pause, to remember who I belong to, because peace does not shout. It whispers. And I want to become someone who listens for that whisper, even in the noise. Father, help me recognize that peace is not passive. It is not apathy or avoidance. It is active trust. It is choosing to believe that you are still sovereign when the ground beneath me trembles. It is choosing to respond with grace rather than panic, to meet conflict with a grounded spirit instead of reactivity, to walk into unknown spaces with a heart that knows it is held. Remind me that peace is not something I manufacture. It is something I receive. It flows from a relationship, not a routine. I do not have to earn it. I only need to return again and again to the place where I remember that I am not alone, that I am loved beyond comprehension, that I am guarded not by walls, but by a presence that never sleeps, never leaves, never breaks its promise. Let this peace shape how I speak. Let it soften my tone when tension arises. Let it steady my breathing when anxiety creeps in. Let it guard my thoughts from spiraling into fear. Let it guide my decisions with clarity, not chaos. Let it make room in my heart for others who are longing for a calm they have not yet found. Lord, teach me how to become a vessel of peace, not just someone who craves it, but someone who carries it. Let me be the kind of person who can walk into a room and bring calm with me. Not because I have everything figured out, but because I am tethered to the one who does. Let my presence remind others that safety is not always about circumstance, but about relationship, and that there is a stillness available even in the middle of life's noise. I ask that you fill my inner world so fully that no outer storm can pull me away from it. Let peace be my posture, not just my prayer. Let it influence the way I drive, the way I wait in line, the way I handle inconvenience, the way I listen when someone is venting their pain. Let it slow my reactions so I do not act out of frustration or fear. Let it make me more human, more patient, more reflective of your gentle strength. There are so many voices trying to define reality today, to voices of division, distraction, discouragement. But your voice is different. It does not clamor for attention. It speaks in the quiet spaces, calling me back to what is true, that I am safe in you, that I do not have to prove anything today, that I can show up fully present without pretending or posturing, that I am already enough because you have called me worthy. And when my mind begins to race, trying to plan every outcome, trying to anticipate every threat, let your peace interrupt those patterns. Let it whisper to my anxious thoughts, you are not in charge of everything, and that is okay. Let it remind me that surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom, that choosing trust is not naive, it is courageous. God, I want to be led by peace, not by pressure. Let me not be pushed by urgency or fear, but drawn forward by the quiet pull of your spirit. Let me find clarity not in doing more, but in aligning more closely with your heart. Let this peace expand within me until it becomes the compass I follow throughout the day, leading me not just where I want to go, but where you are calling me to be. Even now, I can feel your peace like a gentle river moving through me, not forcing, not demanding, just flowing, nourishing what was dry, soothing what was sore, washing over the sharp edges of stress and uncertainty. You are the calm in my chaos, the pause in my pressure, the breath in my tension. Let me take this peace with me as I move forward into the work I do, into the conversations I hold, into the moments that might test my patience or stir my doubts. Let it be the atmosphere around me, shifting the spaces I enter. Let it be contagious, not because I speak of it, but because I live from it. And if I encounter people today who are struggling to find peace in their own lives, let me meet them with compassion, not correction. Let me hold space for their stories, for their grief, for their longing. Let me not minimize their pain or try to fix them with cliches. Let me simply be present. Sometimes peace is not what we say, but how we listen, how we sit with someone without trying to rush them to a solution. You are the Prince of Peace, not just because you still storms, but because you sit with us in the boat through every wave. Because you remind us that we are not abandoned. Because you hold us even when the sea is rough and the horizon is unclear. And that is enough. So today, let my heart rest. Let my shoulders relax. Let my thoughts return again and again to the truth that I am loved, safe, and covered. Let peace be not just what I seek, but what I become, a living testimony of what it means to trust, to remain, to breathe in the quiet strength of your love, God. Carrying the quiet strength of your peace, I feel you inviting me to raise my gaze higher, to see beyond the horizon of my immediate concerns and into the vastness of your perspective. The ground-level view can feel crowded with deadlines, needs, and noise. Yet you whisper that there is more sky than storm, more promise than pressure, more glory than gravity. So I come, ready to lift my eyes. You know how easily I slip into tunnel vision, how a single problem, a single fear, can fill my whole field of sight. But mountaintop hope is available, even while standing in the valley. Teach me to look up, not to ignore hard realities, but to frame them within the greater reality that you are sovereign, active, and good. As I inhale, I picture the wide morning sky stretching over everything I will face today. The same expanse covers hospitals and boardrooms, classrooms and kitchens. Nothing is outside its reach, and nothing is outside yours. Let that wideness settle my spirit. Let it remind me that no setback is final, no detour wasted, no detail unseen. You are weaving a story larger than any single scene. When discouragement starts its slow creep, prompt me to lift my eyes again. Let me see answers I had not imagined, resources I had not counted, paths I would have missed had I stared only at the dust beneath my feet. Remind me how many times you have parted seas I thought were dead ends. How many mornings mercy arrived before anxiety could speak. Lift my perspective over my own limitations. 2. Where I see lack, you see seed. Where I feel small, you see a vessel ready to carry something vast. Help me trade the question, can I, for the confession with you, I will. And when comparison tries to shrink my worth, let me look up and notice that the same sun warms every field, yet each harvest is timed uniquely. Lord, raise my eyes toward people as well. It is easier to label from a distance than to look closely and find your image. Today, let me see beyond attitudes to underlying stories, beyond failures to potential, beyond differences to shared humanity. Give me a sky-wide compassion that leaves no room for contempt. And when I am tempted to obsess over outcomes I cannot control, lift my focus to the unchanging character of the one who can. You have never broken a promise, never lost track of a sparrow, never looked away when I needed you near. Let that history steady me more than headlines or hurried opinions. Let gratitude rise like dawn over the landscape of my doubts. May every upward glance become a prayer of trust, a silent yes to your timing, a bold amen to your plan, a calm breath that surrenders the battle of control. As my eyes lift, so too may my countenance, my decisions, my words. Let lifted eyes produce lifted living choices that echo heaven's hope on ordinary ground. I do not ask for clearer circumstances. I ask for clearer vision, a vision that keeps your greatness in the foreground and my worries in rightful scale. Whether skies today are brilliant blue or veiled in gray, you remain the same expansive God, inviting me to look up and walk on. God, lifting my eyes, has widened my hope. And now you nudge me to keep that hope protected. I sense your gentle warning. A vision unguarded can fade. A heart left open to every influence will soon be divided. So I stand before you as a watchman on the walls of my own soul, asking for fresh vigilance over every gate my eyes, my ears, my mind, my mouth. Teach me to recognize the subtle entries of discouragement and compromise. Not every danger arrives loudly. Some slip in through casual scrolls and careless conversations. Help me to notice what depletes my peace, what stirs envy, what normalizes cynicism, and to close the gate quickly, firmly, without apology. I do not want entertainment that erodes empathy or headlines that harvest only fear. Father, set a filter over my ears. May gossip find no welcome. May slander meet closed doors. May flattery be weighed before it is swallowed. When words come wrapped in worry or wrapped in rage, let them fall harmless at the threshold, because truth stands guard. Let me lean toward voices that call me higher, that remind me who I am in you, that fuel rather than fracture faith. Place sentries at the entrance of my mind. Let thoughts be examined before they settle, imaginations be surrendered before they spiral into obsession, memories be healed rather than rehearsed in bitterness. I want no squatters in the corridors of my thinking, only guests that honor your presence. Lord, guard also the gate of my mouth. May what leaves my lips pass first through wisdom and kindness. If I must speak correction, let it be laced with grace. If I must express pain, let it be honest but not toxic. Let my words build walls of encouragement around weary hearts, not tear breaches that expose them to more attack, where boundaries have grown lax. String them, where watchfulness has turned to wariness. Revive it. Show me practical steps. The screen I should turn off sooner. The conversation I must steer elsewhere. The article best left unread. The thought rerouted into prayer. Each small choice is a brick in the wall of my well-being. Yet do not let vigilance become isolation. Gates are meant to open for good as well as bar the harmful. Keep me hospitable to joy, to friendship, to new truth you wish to teach. Let gratitude stride in freely. Let beauty pass without interrogation. Let the needy find the door wide to compassion. I trust you to point out breaches I have missed and to stand with me as I repair them. Together, like ancient builders in Nehemiah's day, We work with trowel in one hand and sword in the other, constructing peace. Resisting intrusion. And when night falls and my strength wanes, I rest knowing the ultimate watcher never slumbers, never yields his post, never loses sight of the city of my soul. Lord, as I stand at the newly fortified gates of my life, you shift my focus once more, this time down into the hidden roots that have quietly fed the patterns I battle. Guarding today is vital, yet you remind me that some struggles did not start with me. They were planted generations ago, passed along like heirlooms, never questioned. I sense your loving insistence. We cannot merely trim branches. We must pull up the buried roots of bondage so that true freedom can flourish for me and for those who come after. Father, bring to light every repeating cycle that has traveled the bloodlines before mine, fear that disguises itself as caution, scarcity that masquerades as thrift, anger that erupts after years of silence, addictions woven into family lore, relational fractures accepted as normal. I am not here to blame ancestors who did the best they knew, but to agree with heaven that the story does not have to repeat. What began in pain can end in redemption. What was sown in trauma can be uprooted in truth. Show me specific places where old snares still influence present choices. If I shrink from opportunity because my people were taught to expect little, reveal it. If I mistrust intimacy because earlier generations survived by emotional distance, uncover that distrust. If my tongue echoes harsh phrases I once despised, let me hear them clearly, not in shame but in honest recognition. You expose only to heal. God, I stand in the authority of your name and cut every cord tying me to ungodly legacies. I break spoken curses, jokes that predicted failure, labels that limited potential, declarations that no one in this family ever gets ahead. Those words lose their permission now. I renounce secret pacts with hopelessness, silent agreements that sorrow is our inheritance. Any allegiance to dysfunction framed as tradition, what my lineage could not conquer, I place under the victory of the cross. Yet I do not sever every line to the past. I preserve the good. I receive the resilience my ancestors forged in wilderness, the creativity they summoned in lack, the prayers they whispered when they had little else. I bless their sacrifices, honor their stories, keep their wisdom, but I refuse the chains. Like a goldsmith separating precious metal from dross, refine what I carry forward. Teach me to walk out this freedom practically. If debt patterns haunt our history, guide my budgeting and generosity until a new financial Dana is born. If cycles of divorce mark the path, shape my communication and forgiveness so covenant thrives. If sickness stalked each generation, lead me into stewardship of body and into bold prayer for healing. Let every choice today plant different seed for tomorrow. And, Lord, widen my perspective. My breakthrough is never isolated. When one chain snaps, the sound echoes down the family line. Let deliverance flow backward, bringing honor to forebears who longed for liberty they never saw, and forward. So children yet unborn grow up under open heaven, not low ceilings. May they inherit blessing as naturally as breathing, faith as instinctively as walking. Where bitterness toward predecessors lingers, wash it away. They wrestled enemies I may never fully grasp. Give me gratitude for every ancestor who carried the light as far as they could. Now it is my turn to carry it farther. With humility, I accept the mantle, to turn generational pain into generational praise. Holy Spirit, fill the spaces left vacant after roots are removed. Plant truth where lies once grew, abundance where scarcity ruled, gentleness where anger scorched, self-control where addiction prowled. Water these new seeds daily with scripture, worship, and wise community until new fruit appears, fruit so evident that relatives marvel and ask how such change is possible. Let my testimony be simple. What ran in my family ran into God. If pushback arises, voices that say, "You have changed," in tones of accusation, strengthen my resolve. I have changed because love changed me first. Grant me grace to stay kind while staying free. Help me remember that deliverance is invitation, not superiority. My liberty is meant to unlock doors for others, not display trophies for self. Finally, I ask for prophetic vision over my household line. Let me imagine weddings unmarred by fear, tables where laughter replaces tension, gatherings where forgiveness is native tongue, stories where children know the sound of blessing more than the sting of belittlement. Give me eyes to see decades ahead, to labor with present faith for future joy. Today, I sign a new family narrative. I seal it with gratitude, with conviction, and with hope that does not disappoint. The snare is broken. We have escaped, and in the space where chains once lay, dances a legacy of freedom that will outlive my years and tell your goodness to 1,000 generations. Father, with generational chains broken and fresh soil ready for new seed, I sense you calling me to reach farther into the places where loss once ruled. Some things were taken by open assault, others slipped away through slow erosion, but all carry your promise of restoration. You are the God who returns years the locusts have eaten, the God who brings beauty from ashes, the God who reclaims what seemed forever gone. I come, ready to partner with that redemption. Show me, Lord, the territories of time and talent, peace and purpose, joy and creativity that the enemy looted. Reveal the moments fear stole opportunities, the seasons shame silenced my voice, the relationships fractured by misunderstanding, the dreams shelved by discouragement. I do not revisit these memories to dwell in regret. I revisit them to mark what must be retrieved. First, I reclaim time. Every hour wasted in worry, every day surrendered to despair, every season spent circling the same mountain of indecision, I lay them before you for restoration. Teach me to steward the present with intention so lost years bear retroactive fruit. Multiply my capacity where anxiety once multiplied delay. Next, I reclaim my voice. Words swallowed out of insecurity, ideas buried beneath doubt, praise muted by pain. I ask you to resurrect them. Let truth flow again without tremor. Let creativity pour like fresh oil. Where silence guarded wounds, let testimony now release healing. I reclaim relationships. Some can be rebuilt, others honored from a distance. But bitterness will no longer mediate my connections. Guide me in humble apologies where I was wrong, courageous boundaries where trust was broken, and hopeful prayer over fractures only you can mend. Let love regain the ground resentment occupied. I reclaim joy, not the fragile happiness tied to circumstance, but the deep, defiant gladness that springs from knowing I am yours. where gloom nested in my thoughts. Let laughter rise like morning birdsong. Resensitize my heart to everyday wonders, a child's giggle, sunlight on leaves, the hush of evening. Joy is my strength. I seize it back. I reclaim peace of mind, nighttime anxieties that stole rest. Spiraling thoughts that hijacked focus, they have lost authority. I receive your promise of sleep unmarred by dread, and waking hours guided by clarity. Guard my mind so rigorously that chaos finds no entry. I reclaim purpose. Dreams deferred by detours are not dead but dormant. Breathe life into them again. Align divine timing with renewed confidence. Show me steps to rebuild momentum, emails to send, skills to sharpen, collaborations to pursue. I refuse to bury what you entrusted to me. And because your redemption is generative, not merely restorative, I ask for increase. If hope was taken, return it 30, 60, 100-fold hope for me and for those I influence. Reclaimed territory become testimony terrain, where others learn that losses are not finals when you author the story. Holy Spirit, highlight any lingering lie that says too late, too broken, too small. Replace each with heaven's verdict. Redeemed, renewed, recommissioned. Let my inner narrative shift from victim of theft to steward of recovery. Where practical action is required, give me strategy, a phone call, a counseling session, a budget overhaul, a new routine. Where only prayer can reach, teach my intercession to war with expectancy, celebrating the return before I see it. Finally, let gratitude guard this reclaimed land. I will remember who restored it. I will mark milestones with thanksgiving so complacency never reopens doors to plunder. My story will echo Davis' song. You delivered me because you delighted in me. What was stolen is not only back, it is blessed, expanded, and dedicated to your glory. Father, now that lost ground has been reclaimed and gratitude guards the borders, you call me to sustain this territory day by day. Victories secured today can be tested tomorrow. Freedom enjoyed this morning may be challenged by dusk. So I accept your summons to a lifestyle of continual readiness, declaring war daily, not with frantic striving, but with steadfast, practiced authority. I begin by dressing my intention. This day will not run me. I will run it under your banner. Before screens brighten, alerts ping, or opinions press, I plant my flag in the unseen realm. Jesus is Lord over my schedule, my conversations, my thoughts, my body, my resources. No competing claim will stand unchallenged. Every hour is kingdom ground. Next, I survey the familiar front lines. Fatigue often marches at dawn. I answer with disciplined rest and life-giving habits. Distraction sneaks through endless scrolling. I set watch limits and open scripture first. Cynicism prowls in trending topics. I counter with deliberate celebration of what is good. I refuse to concede small skirmishes that accumulate into larger defeat. I sharpen my weapons. My worship is a sword that splits despair. My testimony is a shield that quenches fiery accusations. My gratitude launches arrows that scatter complaining spirits. My forgiveness detonates the mind's resentment hides beneath relationships. I polish these weapons in private, so they are swift in public. Father, teach me to issue preemptive strikes of prayer. I cover family members by name, coworkers by assignment, leaders by office, cities by promise. I bless before backlash forms, intercede before crisis headlines, so peace before conflict grows roots. Hell cannot harvest where heaven has saturated the soil. I set standing orders for my inner dialogue. No thought may camp overnight without inspection. If it exalts fear, it is expelled. If it nourishes faith, it is fed. When temptation knocks, I answer with the word, not with negotiation. When shame whispers, I reply with identity sealed in grace. My mind will not host treason. Lord, remind me that declaring war daily is not about paranoia. It is about stewardship. You have entrusted gifts, callings, spheres of influence. Leaving them unguarded invites vandalism. Therefore I patrol with joy, not dread like a gardener tending treasured vines, not a prisoner pacing anxious walls. I also enlist allies. Lone soldiers tire quickly, so I link arms with trusted believers. We share intelligence, pray in agreement, celebrate wins, cover wounds. Community amplifies courage and mutes isolation's lies. Teach me to reach out before weakness becomes retreat. When unexpected battle flares, keep me agile. A harsh email, a sudden bill, a painful memory, these are ambushes meant to provoke old reflexes. Instead, I will breathe, listen, and respond from the Spirit's calm command center. Panic surrenders territory. Patience reclaims it. Father, train my senses to discern subtle shifts. A creeping dullness toward worship, a shortened fuse with family, a casual compromise that once pricked conscience. These early warnings matter. I choose immediate course correction rather than heroic recovery later. Small obediences today prevent large regrets tomorrow. Let my home echo the cadence of daily declaration, music that lifts, conversations that heal, laughter that disarms gloom, hospitality that displaces loneliness. May every room preach that Christ reigns here. Darkness may knock, but it will find no vacancy. As night approaches, drill me in after action review. Where did I stand firm? Where did I flinch? What tactic of the enemy appeared new, but was just recycled deception? I repent fast. Celebrate quicker. Rest deepest, and rise ready at first light. I make no boast in personal strength. My confidence is covenant. The commander who began this good work supplies every strategy, resource, and reinforcement. His victory is certain, and I fight from it, not for it. Yet participation matters. Complacency still wounds. Therefore I pledge heart, mouth, mind, and muscle to the daily campaign of light. Today's battle cry is simple. No retreat, no surrender, no unauthorized surrender of joy. I will meet resistance with resolved praise, frustration with focused prayer, confusion with fixed eyes on Jesus. By your Spirit I will occupy every inch of grace granted, until routine resistance becomes habitual triumph and daily war becomes daily worship. And when years from now someone asks how territories stayed free, Let the record show it was not luck, but deliberate allegiance. Mornings begun at your feet, days conducted under your orders, evenings surrendered back to your care. Let future generations inherit battle plans, written in journal margins and sung in living room worship nights. May they find the gates still strong, the altars still burning, and the anthem still rising. Worthy is the Lamb who overcomes. Onward, Lord. Stepping out of daily warfare, I feel the ground beneath me grow steady, as if hard-won victories are forming a platform under my feet. You invite me to stand taller, to move from constant resistance into confident advance, exercising the authority that Christ already placed within me. Authority is not arrogance. It is alignment, my will fused with heaven's intent, my voice echoing your decree. I remember how uncertainty once made me whisper prayers like timid requests. Now I sense your spirit urging me to speak with the clarity of one who knows the kingdom is at hand. Teach me to carry that awareness into every environment. When I enter a room, peace enters. When I bless, blessings take root. When I bind confusion, clarity begins to bloom. Father, let my posture declare dominion without domination. True authority lifts. It never crushes. Let my leadership be servanthood shaped by confidence rather than control. When I make decisions, let them flow from discernment, not from fear of opinion. When I correct, let compassion travel with truth so dignity remains intact. Guard me from counterfeit authority titles without substance, volume without conviction, charisma without character. Root my influence in integrity unseen by crowds. Private obedience. Secret generosity. Surrendered motives. Authority sourced in intimacy cannot be shaken by external storms. Today I place my feet upon promises that once felt distant. All sufficiency in Christ, victory over oppression, bold access to wisdom. I speak life over dormant projects, declare freedom over bound hearts, release hope into atmospheres heavy with despair, not because I am special, but because Christ in me is the hope of glory. Lord, train my words to operate like keys. Open doors that align with your purposes. Lock gates that protect vulnerable souls. Remind me that silence can wield authority too. I do not need to answer every accusation or chase every argument. Sometimes the most powerful statement is quiet confidence in your vindication. Expand my vision beyond personal circles. Empower my prayers for cities, systems, nations. Let my intercession pierce boardrooms, hospital wings, classrooms, court chambers. Show me issues where your justice longs to break in, and give me strategies that translate prayer into courageous action. Holy Spirit, keep humility stitched to my mantle of authority. The same hand that heals can wash feet. The same voice that casts out darkness must also bless children. Let me never forget the dirt roads you walked or the cross you embraced. Authority finds its clearest expression in sacrificial love. I dedicate every resource time. Influence. Finances. Creativity as instruments of kingdom impact. May meetings become ministries. Errands become encounters. Emails become encouragement. Budgets become testimonies of supernatural provision. Wherever my authority extends, let flourishing follow. When opposition rises, I will stand, not straining, but resting in the finished work of Jesus. My backbone is grace. My shield is righteousness. My anthem is gratitude. I carry no chip on my shoulder, only a cross on my heart. Finally, Father, raise successors who will build on this platform, surpass these victories, and steward even greater authority with purity. May my ceiling become their floor, my breakthroughs their baseline, my yes their invitation. For yours is the kingdom, the power, and the story unfolding through generations of surrendered sons and daughters. Train my posture to reflect inner certainty and quiet strength. I speak to my household, be a sanctuary where creativity is cultivated and fear finds no lodging. I speak to my workplace, become a field where excellence thrives and hidden gifts emerge. I speak to my nation, align with righteousness, pursue justice, honor truth. I speak to the global church, rise in unity, shine in holiness, move in power seasoned by mercy. And when night returns, let today's exercised authority feed tonight's worship. I will recount each moment heaven touched earth through ordinary acts of obedience, a tempered reply, a bold proposal, a whispered prayer over data reports, a spontaneous generosity that dismantled despair. These chronicles of ordinary obedience become maps for angelic aid and warnings to darkness. Let future generations find in them clear tracks of hope. I advance confident yet reliant, bold yet gentle, carrying authority that flows because its source is endless. May every footprint give evidence of a kingdom quietly overtaking despair, until the whole earth knows your glory. Grace wins. Father, this journey that began in trembling honesty now stands in a wide clearing of hope. We have walked valleys and climbed watchtowers, pulled ancient roots and raised bright banners. We have listened for your whisper in midnight fear and heard your laughter echo across reclaimed hills. 23 chapters ago I woke with heaviness. Now my spirit feels like open sky. Yet the story continues the moment this prayer pauses. So I ask for one more gift, grace to live every ordinary tomorrow as evidence of all you have done today. Teach me to remember when routine clouds vision or headlines shout louder than truth. Remind me of altars we built along the way, stones of forgiveness, gates of vigilance, fields of restored joy. Let their memory spark fresh courage. May gratitude become muscle memory, flexing whenever pressure tries to bend my posture. Help me notice quickly when dust settles on armor or complacency creeps over gates. And guide me back to the rhythms we formed. Truth first, worship loud, humility deep. I pray over everyone who traveled this path beside me, some from the first page, others joining midway. Thank you for the unseen threads that wove our separate stories into a single tapestry of pursuit. Bless each listener with personal confirmation that the victories described here are not poetic exaggerations, but practical invitations. Breathe resilience into weary hearts. Ignite purpose in dormant dreams. Release laughter where lament has lingered too long. If any chapter exposed wounds still raw, cover them in gentleness and lead to wise community and trusted counsel. If any declaration sparked holy restlessness, provide next steps clothed in peace. Let no one finish this series feeling pressured to perform. Let them feel pursued by love, equipped to partner with grace. I commission every household represented to carry the atmosphere of your kingdom. Morning scriptures over coffee, whispered intercession at school drop-off, honest confession around dinner tables, worship woven through weekend chores. May children learn early that faith is not a Sunday costume, but family oxygen. May marriages become greenhouses where calling is cultivated. May singles discover that intimacy with you outshines any temporary loneliness. I bless workplaces to notice an unseen excellence radiating from these praying people. Projects will turn, climates will shift, because someone dared to speak light under their breath and refuse gossip in the break room. I bless neighborhoods to feel safer because porch lights stay on and intercessors stay awake. I bless cities to sense quiet revolutions of kindness, justice, and creativity seeded by those who know their spiritual authority. Thank you, dear friend, for walking all the way to this final chapter. Your patience and hunger have turned pages into pilgrimage. Before you close this window, pause and breathe. Feel how far we have come. I would love to read the echoes of your own journey, so share your thoughts and prayers in the comments below. Your words may be the ember that reignites someone else. If this series has stirred your faith, subscribe to the channel so we can keep growing together. Click the bell so fresh prayers find you at dawn. Share the video with anyone longing for breakthrough. Revisit earlier chapters whenever winds rise. Let us commit to daily depth. Weekly worship. Lifelong wonder. Carry this image into each sunrise. You stand beside a river of hope. Behind you lie stones marking battles won. Before you glimmers fresh promise. Dip your hands, the water recalls Eden and hints at the city without tears. Splash it on your face when shame mutters old names. Taste it whenever purpose feels dry. Renewal flows unceasingly. When evening settles and shadows stretch, fasten truth even if the day felt tangled. Lift faith like a lantern and watch accusations scatter. Speak scripture over rooms falling silent. Unseen sentries guard while you sleep. If tomorrow wakes with storm, listen under the waves. The voice that calmed Galilee still sounds in your chest through a verse, a friend's text, the pause between tasks. Tune your ear until you hum that song. Picture thousands across continents, hearts joined in one anthem. Earth, be filled with His glory, every shared link. Whispered prayer. Steady obedience extends this canopy of light. Keep turning life's pages with expectation. Scribbling. Gratitude. Letting love displace fear. When doubt returns, step again to that river. Drink deep and watch dawn widen. Its current will carry hope onward.